Hey, what's going on, guys? Zach here with Triple Take Podcast. Today we have a handful of things to get through, as well as a couple of trailers. We are going to get really deep into Mission Impossible in the film series. We're going to talk about what we're watching, and we have a brand new game of 20 questions, so stick around, check it out.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to Triple Take Podcast. I'm your host, Jacob. With me, as always, Lance and Zach. Hello. Welcome back.
It's good to be back.
It's good to be here.
A lot of stuff to talk about today.
I love the new setup.
This is a new setup.
Yeah, me too. It feels real.
This is great.
Like, I feel like debates are going to be really heated and really interactive. Like, it doesn't feel like I'm screaming across. And
I do feel like Lance is directly down the middle of the barrel, though.
Yeah, you are. Yeah.
Honestly, as it should be. You know, the talent sits in the middle. You know, he's ready to go.
I don't know that's like, is that?
I'm shocked that you found a hat that could contain the curls.
Dude, yeah.
Your head looks 30% smaller.
Considerably smaller.
For those of you who don't know, I have a 7 3/4 noggin. No, 8 3/4.
For those who have no idea what hat measurements are, that's massive.
Goes up to 8 1/4 at lids. So I have a ½ inch larger head than 95% of humans.
We're talking special orders.
I feel terrible for your mother.
I'm not feeling great for my wife if we ever have children either. So
just pump out Erickson-sized babies. Oh my God.
Yeah, they're gonna be like 30 pounds. Yeah. All right. Well, let's get into it. This weekend, movies are back. Movies are back more than ever. The Final Reckoning, the last maybe addition to the Mission Impossible franchise, made $200 million at the global box office, and the 4-day Memorial Day weekend, that combined with the Lilo and Stitch Memorial Day weekend, brought in a whopping. Go ahead. What are you talking? What?
I get you're a Mission Impossible guy, but when Lilo and Stitch makes so much more money, bring that to the front. You know, like Lilo and Stitch is what carried the box office this week, not Mission Impossible. That was played second fiddle by far.
Wait.
Less
Lilo
than
and
half
Stitch
the amount.
You're saying mention
341.
341.
Who's watching this?
This guy is watching
Oh
Lilo
my
and Stitch
God.
and Final Reckoning, but
You and a bunch of 12-year-olds.
Give
Honestly,
us give us a 30-second take.
I mean, it's Lilo and Stitch again. The hate, I don't know if it's super justified. Yes, she did give up Lilo. Spoiler. But like, it was an unhealthy relationship for both of them. It also kind of sets up. I think it sets up better if they decide to have a sequel. It'll be different from what they did with the animated ones, which I think is good. But it was fine overall. It was entertaining.
Is that the direction they're going? Do they want to go sequels with this puppy? Is that the
I don't see why you wouldn't. Right?
Yeah,
I mean $341 million, and it only cost $100 million to make. So they're already like $130, $140 in profit on the first weekend.
Well, hear me
So
out.
like, there's almost zero chance they do not make a new one.
right?
Lilo and Stitch #1 was in 2002. But that was animated?
Yeah, this is a remake.
Oh, it's a remake.
Yeah, it's a remake.
Yeah.
It's the exact same
This is a live
story,
action
but
remake.
live action.
What? They remade it live action?
Do you live in a box?
I just don't care about Lilo and Stitch. I honestly, I got a trailer for it, kind of, in Thunderbolts, and I was like, what is this?
There was some hate, I think, up front with like Pleakley and whatever the other guy's name is.
Yeah, but like, I don't, because there was no cross-dressing. Is that what we're...
Well, no, like that, maybe the no cross-dressing thing, but then also, like that's part of the fun, I think.
But I agree. But if you watch... We'll go into spoilers here, so if you don't want to hear a little bit of Lilo and Stitch spoilers, just skip ahead like 30 seconds. But so what they do is they had to save. It only cost $100 million to make, right?
Yep.
Having Pleakley throughout the whole time, having what's his name, Jumba, through the whole time would have cost a lot of money. So what they did was they like basically had them clone into human forms of themselves.
So they just explained it away.
Yeah. It was just they were humans the whole time, basically, for the most part. So it wasn't like they were in disguise as the humans that they were voiced by.
Okay,
so it saved a ton of money that way. So, like, that's why they avoided.
And I mean, honestly, at the end of the day, like kids that haven't seen Lilo and Stitch, they're not caring at all.
And there's also like there is a cancel culture that like
maybe it was fine.
You do have to be like you just never know who's gonna get mad about what. Like,
yeah. No, absolutely.
Well, I think that like even if it was a remake, I think that the part of your audience that's going to see this haven't ever seen the first one or weren't alive to see the first one anyways, right?
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
I mean,
so it's okay. That's why I feel like it's okay to change the story a little bit. Like the main story stayed the same, which I think is the most important.
Fair
and
enough.
you don't want to watch a complete live action remake exactly as it is. No one wants to see that. Like you want to see a few new things, and they did that. So I enjoyed it.
Mission accomplished.
and things that aren't good. On IMDb's homepage right now, they've got a movie called Zombies 4: Dawn of the Vampires. Anyways,
Where are we going with that?
I don't know. That's what I was watching while you guys were talking about Lilo and Stitch.
Well,
it looks horrible.
I'm sure it is.
I was like,
horrible.
that's not on my list here. What
No,
are we
that
talking
was
about?
out of pocket.
Looks terrible.
Give it back to the host, man. Get this thing back on the rail.
In other news, and I think quite passionate news for you specifically, Lance, Avengers Doomsday and Avengers Secret Wars have both been delayed by a year.
Dude, you guys can call me Nostradamus. If you go back like 4 or 5 episodes, I state there is no way they can get this done on time.
You're absolutely right.
That.
No, you're not wrong.
You're not wrong. Also, well, they just started filming for it.
Exactly. That's what I
There's
said.
no way.
We started talking about the filming, and I'm like, guys, they are not going to finish.
I think
this
it was
in time.
kind of an ambiguous date. I mean, for like investors, they were like, they just needed one.
But you can't do that with the Avengers. Like, let's speculate for a second. What if Dune's known about this for almost a week now. Dune hasn't moved, right?
Yeah,
What
Warner
if
Brothers
we
is
see, What if we
staked.
see Warner Brothers and Disney go to battle? Like, as
Is
a
that-
viewer,
would that be the
that's
first time we've
super
seen that?
excited. I mean, on movies of that scale,
As
never
of
happened.
as of right now, it's Doomsday technically, right?
Shout out Doomsday.
Shout out Doomsday.
Hashtag
Yeah.
Doomsday.
Gosh, that
So,
would,
but neither of them have moved.
Can you
off of
imagine
that?
that?
Right?
I mean, that's at least a 5-hour stint, right?
Oh,
2.5
6
minimum.
probably,
I think.
yeah.
I think you're probably looking closer to 6.
and that's not even including trailers. Like we're probably
yeah.
going
Who do you
7-8 hours worth of trailer. Like that's a full day, and dang, that would be a fantastic day.
I mean, I'm not much of a betting guy. Just kidding. Totally am a betting guy. I would put money on Dune moving before Marvel moves.
Well, yeah, they just moved. Marvel just moved in there, so why?
Yeah,
would
they're just
they're not
throwing
going to
their-
move again.
just
so
throwing their weight
it's
around.
It's either Warner Brothers moves or we see some crazy stuff, and
Well,
I want to see it.
I don't
Like,
think Warner Brothers can afford to have a flop. And I you know what I mean? I think that Marvel could.
Can they?
I mean, at this point though, like
They're over
If you
the
look-
last.
they're supposed to
even
make-
Thunderbolts, which was great. Like,
Apparently,
it's-
the budget for Doomsday is with everything included is $1 billion. They have to clear $2 billion just to make their
That's
money
what I'm
back.
saying. Like, there's a lot of risk for Disney and Marvel. Like, I
Yeah.
don't. If Dune doesn't move, like Dune only costs what, $300 million? Probably.
mean,
I don't know.
let's break it down like a. If we evaluate the Barbie and Oppenheimer when that came out, I think both were helped by each other. You know, like the
Kind of,
novelty and the meme culture of it.
Yeah.
Is that, can we apply that same thing to a Doomsday?
I don't think so. Just because if we're looking to try to get $2 billion, like Avengers is gonna need 1.52 billion to be like the success that we saw with Infinity War and Endgame, right? And there's only so many theaters and so much space.
Yeah,
and
it's
so
a
much
number
time
of
in a
screens
day.
thing for
Like
sure.
it's, I don't know if it's possible to have
Oh
them
yeah,
both
how
be
many
successful.
screens
Like,
can it possibly be on? in the
yeah,
same
like
day?
I just don't know if it could. I don't even know if the
Honest,
math works out.
Ooh.
Do we even have more
I
than
think
one
the
IMAX screen?
I was just gonna say that the IMAX via IMAX is really gonna be the issue. Honestly wouldn't be surprised if Dune moves back to like February, March of the next year.
I want to see it same day. I
100%. I totally agree with
I
you.
know it'd be horrible for
Hear me
both
out.
of them, but that would be one of the greatest days of cinema of all
Like
time.
purely from a logistics standpoint, though, like you can't have 2 IMAX like reels. It's gonna be really difficult.
Yeah,
like it's
'cause
such
you're,
a
like,
huge
splitting
process.
such
Like,
things.
have you seen like the prints for
The
these
size of the film
the
is-
reels for these puppies? I mean, we're talking like 4 feet in diameter. Like for Sinners, like I mean, and that was a vampire movie that was just over 2 hours. Like I can't imagine.
But we're also only considering our theater, which has one IMAX screen. There's a lot of
I'm just
places
saying,
that
though,
have
that-
multiple IMAX screens. So
That's true.
you don't have to switch those
When
because
did-
if you
It's
got
the
4
only one
IMAX
in Fort
screens,
Wayne,
it's
though,
not a
like-
big deal. Yeah, for Fort Wayne, it's a huge
Fort
deal.
Wayne's not a
right?
small city,
But
though.
I'm also not watching. If those two are both going on, I'm not watching them here. I'm going to Indy. I'm watching one in IMAX. I'm watching one on Dolby Cinema. I'm getting the full effect.
If you can get
making
tickets.
it a
If you can
day.
get tickets, yeah.
That's the problem.
Now, I think they're going to come down to like just literally IMAX space because a lot of theaters only have the one theater big enough to house that.
Yeah.
I've got a couple things. One, I think that we're going to probably end up seeing Dune move, and I think that I would agree like that March time frame probably would make sense. But then again, like, okay, so you had Doomsday. They picked the original date, 2 or 3 years ago, something like that. It makes sense if that was just a random date they threw out, kind of, and then they were going to move it all along. But also, like, does it make sense given that Spider-Man was technically happening in between Doomsday and Secret Wars, and then you got Spider-Man?
Well, now
There's rumors that Spider-Man is also going to move back. So I wouldn't, to that March date that the second Avengers movie moved off of. Now,
to me, what makes
I could
the
also
most...
see Dune going into that slot and Spider-Man's thing the same. But I think one of those two movies probably going to fall into that second Avengers movie original slot.
To me, what makes the most sense here, and obviously this is what it is now, like July 31st, 2026, Spider-Man Brand New Day. December 18th, 2026, Doomsday. And then Avengers Secret Wars, December 17th, 2027. So Doomsday didn't go back an entire year, but was it May before? It was like a May release, wasn't it? Something like that.
Yeah.
Something.
May.
So, 8-9 months. Or no, not 8-9 months. 6 months. Still, I think at that point, though, you can almost assume, or at least heavily allude to, that Spider-Man makes an appearance in Doomsday now. Have they outright said he's not going to be in it?
No.
There's been rumors that he will not. So what I've seen is that he actually hasn't signed. Well, that's not exact. Marvel hasn't signed a contract with Sony letting him into the Avengers films.
So they're just making these plans, kind of just thinking.
So
maybe
the original
hoping.
Doomsday date was May 1st, 26, and then it got moved back to December 18th of 26.
Which honestly, I'm not that upset about the winter release date. I think that summer stuff you get. I love summer blockbusters. Like, there's always a great summer movie. I think that they tend to do better, like in that Star Wars kind of time slot, like December 18th, December 15th, that kind of like 4 or 5 day, like right before Christmas. I think that, especially with Christmas break, I think it's going to have legs. Like, I think if they're trying to get the cash out of it that they want, having it in the winter Christmas time slot is probably the way to go. And I bet you all their accountants are probably thinking the same thing.
Absolutely.
I think that if we were sitting in like Age of Ultron time frame with Marvel right now, and someone told me that like Infinity War is getting pushed back, we wouldn't have this discussion at all. I'd just be like, oh, damn, we don't get to see it for another 6 months.
I think also...
But now because Marvel is having such a tough time, it's like everything is signaling like, no, doom and gloom essentially, right? For lack of a better word. But in reality, it's like, look, there's how many stars are in this movie?
Oh, there's over 100.
100?
There's over 100 superheroes, no?
Yeah. Can you imagine trying to get all those schedules aligned and being like, this is the only thing you can be in for this period of 6 months. You have to do all these filming dates. It must be crazy trying to get all those people together in one room. I mean, how hard is it just for us to get together in a room?
This is true.
So,
and they all have puppies.
And they all have puppies. And some of them have kids. But look, I don't think that I'm ready to say like, oh, this is not good for Marvel. It's just, look, we have to wait a little bit longer. And if it means we get a better product because of it, then great. But I think that they probably were going to push this date back all along. Quit playing with your nipples.
They're poking out, man. You're dipping into our discussion topic.
Okay.
But anyway, so
nipples or
little,
discussion topic?
no. I meant him talking about
to talk about his supple nipples.
It's not the word I would use.
That's not actually what we're talking about.
So,
for
yeah,
the discussion.
gosh. Yeah,
a lot of people just clicked off as soon as they heard that.
They're gone.
So.
Or brought more people in. You don't know how they swing.
That's an audience that we don't care for.
Speaking of Spider-Man.
What's up, Daddy Gang?
There was confirmation this week that Hulk, in some capacity, can't really specify which form or banner or whatever, he's going to be in Spider-Man Brand New Day. I think I like it. I'm excited for it.
It's fine. I mean,
do we need him in there? Probably not. Is it going to benefit the movie? Probably. Do you think it's going to be like so I had read, and I'm not the comic guy. You're the comic guy, Zach.
I'm trying to think back about like.
Apparently, there was some sort of comic where
Hulk and
everyone has lost their memory about Spider-Man, and the only one that remembers is Hulk, not even
Because-
Banner.
Yeah.
And so he's like talking to Hulk at one point as Spider-Man, and he's like, "Hey, Peter," or something. I just saw this on Twitter, so
Peter.
this is totally wrong. Yeah, sorry. Is this? Do you think this is where they're going? I mean, it kind of makes sense. Kind of the thing that I'm confused about is like where this lines up with no one knowing him, and that kind of is the only thing that, like, if the shoe fits, you know what I mean? That like.
There's only a handful of people that still remember him right now, like in the movies. Now, as far as like the comics
There's
go,
nobody.
I'm
right?
not.
Even Strange.
No, Strange,
I
and
don't
Wong,
think so.
I believe, both
No,
remember.
Are you sure?
He said nobody. Honestly, I don't know.
I really don't think. I think there was a scene
How
at
does
the end
he-
of No
Correct
Way
me if
Home.
I'm wrong, but I think that Wong remembers because he changed a couple things at the very end.
Is it that
during
no
this
one
spell.
remembers Peter Parker, or no one remembers Peter Parker is Spider-Man?
No one remembers
Or is it both?
Peter Parker.
So he's just Gonzo.
Gonzo beans.
Does he get a social security card? New birth certificate? This guy's a...
Well, his
freaking
identity
ghost.
doesn't change, but it's just that no one remembers that Peter Parker is Spider-Man.
No, nobody remembers Peter Parker. Like, he'll have his ID, but nobody's going to be like, oh, that's Peter Parker. Because MJ would remember him as Peter
Yeah,
Parker.
that's why they have
Oh,
no
yeah.
idea.
True.
So
True,
it's
true.
just, he still has his identity. No one remembers he exists, if that makes sense. So, like, nobody's like, oh, I know Peter
Oh,
Parker.
okay. I see what
He's-
you're saying.
He's still Peter Parker,
Yeah,
but nobody
yeah.
knows who that is.
Yeah, he's insignificant in the
Yeah.
grand scheme.
He's a nobody. He's got to work his way up from
Frickin'
infantile
nobody.
stages again.
Dude like Peter, named
I guess
Peter.
there is a handful of comics where like there's almost like a buddy comedy between Hulk and Spider-Man.
Buddy Cops.
There's a run called The Immortal Hulk, and they pal around a little bit. But yeah, as far as Hulk remembering versus Banner, Hulk would remember, I guess, because of the healing factor. I don't know, something about that. I don't know.
Yeah, because what I had seen was just like a clip, a frame from one of the comics. It was like, Banner doesn't know, but I remember.
Yeah, there's a special edition
Assuming that's how he
called
sounds.
Spider-Man and the Hulk. It's a summer issue from,
It looked fairly recent.
I don't know. This one looks old as dirt.
Oh.
I don't know.
Anyway,
It'll be fine.
I'm excited for it though.
Yeah. It'll be good.
I don't mind if like I think I don't mind if like Spider-Man has other superheroes in his movies at all. I think that it only helps.
Yeah.
It's fine. But also I think that Marvel is kind of realizing like, hey, we can't just have Spider-Man. It has to be something else because people love that like little interaction that they
I
have.
think that's just like inherently the MCU problem at this point. Is like,
yeah.
you know, before when we're building up the MCU, it's like all these individual origin stories and then
Yep.
kind of one-offs, but then everyone kind of makes a little bit of appearances as we go forward. But now it's almost expected.
Yep.
I think like
Well,
almost
where was
disappointed.
Iron Man during all this?
Yeah,
Or where
yeah.
Was,
Where was Daredevil?
Do you want my tinfoil hat?
Yes.
So I think that they couldn't figure out a way to shoehorn Hulk into the Avenger movie, and they had to explain where he was. Oh, let's just throw him in with Spider-Man because it makes sense because we're
Yeah.
going to need him for the next movie, but we can't kill him off like half of the, like I think half to 3/4 of the people are going to be killed off in
Right.
this one. So
I did see some MCU sources saying that he was going to be a professor, and it is Peter's college time, so that could be the connection there.
Oh, that would be interesting. Yeah.
There is a comic where Spider-Man learns that Bruce Banner and Hulk are like different people. I guess there's a time when they didn't realize this, but apparently Spider-Man realizes that like, oh, well, Bruce is the human form of
But he's
Hulk.
not for us, really.
No.
Like, right, and in the current MCU, like, he's the same.
He's the same, yeah.
Yeah.
No, but there's a comic that has that in it.
Will Peter try to get him to remember him, or explain everything that has happened, or will Peter just act like nothing has happened and move on as a new person?
Well, if we knew that, we wouldn't need the movie.
No, I'm asking you what you think will happen.
To me, I think he'll probably already know. I don't think we'll know that right away, but I think it'll be like, oh, yeah, Peter. Like, he'll be like, I can't figure out why no one, like, he's trying to figure out a mystery Hulk on his own, and they'll kind of tie that together towards the middle, and then they'll fight a bad guy at the end. And then all of a sudden, they're on Battleworld.
So technically, yeah, you do have to have Spider-Man on Battleworld at some point in the future.
And you have to have Hulk, too, no?
You have
Or the Hulk world that we...
You
I
don't
mean,
have
we
to
saw
have
the
Hulk.
Hulk world in the pictures though, so I'm sure we're gonna get Hulk.
I'm sure you'll get him on Battleworld, but you don't have to have him. I know Spider-Man plays a pretty crucial part, and also just Captain Rogers.
Yep.
So
Captain Rogers is dead.
Steven?
Oh, people were a little segue there. People were pissed that you were calling him Captain Rogers in the clip. I don't know why. They're like, no, he's Captain America. I was like, it's the same thing.
Sorry,
Give me Captain Steve.
Captain Steven Rogers. Sorry, Captain Rogers, Captain America, whatever. You have to have Spider-Man and
Stephen J. Rogers.
Cap America.
So is it gonna? Do you think they'll turn that into the new Cap?
I don't know.
Role,
but I do think that you're going to see in this Spider-Man movie, I would be willing to bet that you get an awful lot of Spider-Man in the suit and not a whole lot of Peter Parker's actual face.
Oh, I actually think the opposite.
I don't think you're far off.
I think
specifically because of like the scheduling thing.
Yeah, I think with the scheduling coming up, I think you're going to have a lot of voiceover. You're going to get a lot of CGI.
I think you'll get that in the Avengers movies. I do not think you'll get that in his original movie, because I think it's going to be a big thing about him trying to rediscover himself and figure out what he's going to do now that nobody recognizes him.
I think he's meeting Harry Osborn, and I think that we're going to get some Green Goblin stuff.
There is. I don't think
they just did Green Goblin. They're not going to do him again.
I don't know if we get any more Harry because there's confirmed no Oscorp in the MCU.
Yeah,
confirmed. How do you say that?
Because it's the Ox whatever from Thunderbolts. Oscorp is who bought Stark Tower or the Avengers Tower in the comic books, and it's not the
there's
Valentina
comic books at this point for the MCU. There's like suggestions, not blueprints.
Yeah, they're like guides.
I get it, but as of right now, there's no Oscorp in the MCU.
True,
that's what I'm saying. He's probably meeting Harry in this movie.
I don't think there's any way that they redo him right after he was the main villain in the last one. There's just zero shot.
Yeah, Harry wasn't. Norman was.
Yeah.
No, I bet he meets Harry.
I would.
And I bet they go the Hobgoblin
as
route.
A man who bets, I'll put 100 bones on it right here today.
No, 100 bones.
100.
I'll go 25 bones.
100 bones. Wait. What's the bet?
The bet is that Harry Osborn shows up in this movie. 100 bones.
100 bones.
100 bones.
You guys saw it here
if
first.
If it doesn't happen,
Jacob will be handing it over to me on
100 boners.
July.
Yikes!
Of next year.
Whoa! I said doll hairs in your face.
Okay. Okay. I had one last small take here.
Bring it.
I saw something. Hemsworth, Thor. I guess he gets one more movie in his contract. Liam. Sorry, Liam Hemsworth.
No, it's Chris.
Thor. Whatever. Chris. Whatever. Thor. All right. Fuck you guys. All right. Thor gets one more movie in his contract. When they sign these Marvel contracts, does it specify, do you think, like, you're signing a deal for 8 movies? Or does it say, like, you're getting this movie? Like, does it specify at all?
I think it just says movies. Because they didn't have, when they had Bucky, right?
Yeah.
I doubt that it specifies.
Like, he signed his original contract for 9 movies.
Yeah.
On Captain America, the Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
So there's no way they had like, oh yeah, we're gonna make Thunderbolts.
The reason I say like, okay, the Hulk thing, kind of to your point, Lance, is like they're shoehorning the Hulk in here, and it's like, okay, well, is that the end of Ruffalo's contract? There's like, we have to get this over with. Let's shoehorn him in here, where we can just be done with Hulk.
I bet they don't specify like what movies or when they're coming out. I bet they do specify, though, movies versus other appearances in movies.
Oh, I'm sure it's in there, yeah.
Like,
and I'm sure these contracts
that's
are
what I was like, does this fall as like a main role or not?
Yeah.
See, I don't see that there's any way that they have to do something with him if it's his last. They're not gonna put him in there and then not talk about him again. Like, he's too big of a character. Like, they're either if they wanted to get rid of him, if they wanted to just shoehorn him in, you throw him into Avengers Doomsday and you let him die somewhere.
Well, it's cheaper I would assume that it's cheaper rather than breaking contract and just being like, oh, well, we only got you in 8 versus 9 movies. It's probably cheaper just to pay, let's just say Ruffalo, the $8 million for one more movie than it is to have him be like, hey, you broke contract before you owe me 100.
No, I agree with that. Yeah. But what I'm saying is, if it's a Spider-Man movie and they're not going to kill him off, then you have a bunch of viewers who are waiting for Hulk to come back, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Like, but if you do Doomsday and you're like, oh, his contract's over, send him to a world and let Dr. Doom kill him off.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you get the same effect of still throwing him in there. You get a boosted bad guy and you don't have a bunch of fans waiting
Yeah.
for him.
Even more big brain is like, all right, so we know from the comic books that the Void is the only thing that scares the Hulk. And, like, do we have, obviously the Void is back with Sentry.
Mm-hmm.
Do we get some kind of cool interaction there, maybe? I mean, that's pretty damn cool in the comics. The Void literally breaks every bone in the Hulk's body.
You're
nerding out
I
here.
can't give you any impact because I've never read the comics.
I wouldn't be upset if we saw it. It'd be cool.
Anyway, let's move on here from the MCU podcast. Kieran Culkin, our guy, joins the Hunger Games Sunrise on the Reaping as Caesar Flickerman.
You guys don't get to be excited about this, okay? You just don't. Like, as the Hunger Games guy, right? You guys shit on Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes when you watched it.
I'm hoping for a better movie.
Good movie. Okay. This one, they're doing everything right again. You guys don't get to be excited.
They're not
about
casting
it.
Rachel Zegler.
You don't have the right. You wanted Ballad of you guys when we talked about it. You didn't even know this was coming out, and I'm like, guys, this is gonna be.
Oh, we knew the book was coming out. We didn't know about the movie though. You didn't know about the movie.
Yes, I did. We talked about it. Go back. Everyone who cares about Hunger Games knew about the movie.
Go back and listen. Do you hear this guy? Do you hear this guy? Go back and listen. Hasn't listened to a single one.
Just because
I don't need to know. I know that I'm right.
Okay.
You go back, look at the receipts.
I'm
not wrong.
I like the Hunger Games. I'm not like a diehard Hunger Games fan. I get it. But I can also be like, I enjoy this thing and still be excited for the next thing that's coming and hopefully
I agree.
It's
Where's
better.
the same
but
energy?
You didn't enjoy it.
Where's
You
this?
know,
No.
but here's the thing though. It's really hard for me to enjoy a piece of shit.
No, it's a good movie.
man.
You
No.
guys got roasted.
He's
That
blown
was
it out.
one of our very
Here's the
first.
It was fine. The movie was fine.
The Ballad of
It was
Songbirds
not
and
good.
Snakes.
The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes is a good movie.
Nah, listen.
No. The problem that we had is that people were so upset that they're like, you have all this additional information from the books. I'm not reading the book. I'm watching the movie.
It
Okay,
needs to be a
I'm not
standalone
going.
thing.
I don't like Pirates of the Caribbean and then go ride the ride for additional information. Like it's not the same.
Yeah, because that's not how it works. That's not how the ride works.
I know that's not how. It's the same.
Now, here's an argument you can make though, right? MCU. You watch the TV shows to understand more about the movies. What's the difference between a book and a TV show? Because you're lazy. That's the only difference.
No.
You're just like,
I can't believe that dude's throwing around the L word.
The movies are standalone for Marvel stuff. You just get more information and it makes things better.
It complements the material.
Yes, the problem with the Songbirds and the Snakes and whatever the hell it was is that it just really wasn't my cup of tea. But only because I don't like big pieces of shit in my tea.
Right? No way.
No, the problem is that they split it into 3 parts where it definitely didn't need to be 3 parts. Even you could admit that.
It's a two-parter.
I will stand on that for business. If that movie was over after the second part and like they had just finished the games, infinitely better movie.
No,
I think if they trim, listen.
Turn it
they
into a
could
two-part
immediately.
movie.
Okay,
they could
If you
immediately
flesh them both out.
If they
agree.
they needed to trim some stuff at the beginning where they're setting up. Oh, he's poor. He's a poor guy. Okay, we don't really necessarily. We don't need a lot of that. Let us know. Move on. Then you need the games to happen. You need that like relationship with what's her name, Lucy Gray and fucking Coriolanus, right? You need that. Okay, they're helping each other, whatever. He's bad, she's good. Fall in love shit. And then just a teeny bit at the end where they have their falling out. If anything, less at the beginning.
The best and most important part is the third act. That's the best and most important part. If anything, you need that more fleshed, but not less.
You can say that, but you haven't built.
No, you're wrong. You just like to watch kids kill each other.
No, I found that incredibly boring.
The story was at the end. All of the important parts were at the end.
Okay.
You see him become a villain at the end.
I said trim up the games.
All right, hear me out. I think we can all agree on this. Again, take the one movie that's 2 hours and 38 minutes or however long it is, okay? Make it 2 movies and actually flesh the story out because they try to tell too big of a story in too short of a time.
No, I agree. Either make it way shorter or make it way longer.
That's
it's weird in between.
Stop.
Make it way longer.
The first part is you introduce the characters and it explains kind of the setup and the stakes and you get it's storytelling 101, okay? Then it enters the games. The games last a little bit longer. when someone dies, you actually like care about this person dying. It's not like, oh, they just killed the Down syndrome girl.
Yeah, there's some weight to
there's
it.
no stakes here. I don't care who this person is. The next movie is what happens in him turning into the villain. That explains, and it like actually to flesh out this character that I've spent so long like watching the original movies to see like who they actually are, because I don't care about him.
Could it have been done better? Yes. Was it a good movie?
No.
Still, yes.
What's your rank here? Where are we rating this?
7.3.
Oh, that's right where I was. Like, I don't.
That's a
like,
good
I think
movie.
it's okay.
A 7.3 is good. If you're going okay, you're going like 6.2 or less.
All right, I'm going 6.5.
I'm going to go 5.5.
Ugh. I can't remember what I rated it before.
5.5, and it's honestly it would be a 5, but we did get a nice Dixie Chicks song in there, so I'm gonna go with 5.5.
Anyway, yeah. So looking forward to Kieran Culkin being
You guys don't get to do
Caesar
that.
Flickerman.
Only I can be excited.
That's
I get
stupid
to-
and dumb.
No. I'm excited for Kieran Culkin to join this, because if anyone can save the day,
I think he can
No.
play a pretty over the
It's
top
Roman.
dude.
Don't do.
It's
He's
Roman.
got-
That's
no.
That's
Okay,
right.
Oh,
but okay. Here's my actual thing. Kieran Culkin as Roman in Severance is arguably. I think you can. Succession. I think you can make the argument that like each character is the most important part of the show. I think Roman plays a really nice like slight comic relief and sadness portion of that show, right?
Oh yeah.
I think he brings a lot to the table there. I'm really excited to see what he brings with Caesar Flickerman, because we've only really seen him as like the guy on the TV. I mean, if we get more of that character, then great.
Have you read the book yet?
No.
Oh my
I
God,
have
fake
the book,
fan,
but I haven't
fake
read it.
fan.
But you're the biggest fucking the biggest fan.
Book's
How-
been out for
how?
like 2 months.
I have the book. I haven't read it.
I
yet.
figured you
I'll
would take
beat
time
him
off
to it.
work.
I'll
to
read it.
fucking
I'll read it
this thing.
tonight.
Oh my gosh.
Anyway, speaking of dog shit movies and adaptations, HBO casts Harry, Ron, and Hermione.
No.
And-
Is this a troll, dude? Harry Potter is
No, I'm saying Sunrise and the Reaping, or whatever the hell we were talking about before. Songbirds and Snakes. Bad adaptation.
But you said speaking of
Bad adaptations. That's what
You
we were
think the
talking
Harry
about.
Potter movies
No,
were a bad
I
adaptation?
think this one's going to be a bad adaptation.
I don't know.
Jury's out.
It's way too early.
We'll see. That's
We
absolutely
literally
true.
haven't seen anything.
We're not setting well up with the Snape casting. We're
Okay.
not setting well up with. Actually, I don't mind this casting.
No issues with these.
Yeah,
I
really-
mean,
really
how
no
could
problem.
you have any issues? We literally don't know anything about.
I
these
do think
people.
it's quite. Did you guys see the photo they put out of it?
Yeah.
They're like kneeling in some grass out in a field. It was like, what are you doing here?
Yeah, you couldn't make a like. Why not?
It felt
why
like
not
an
put them
engagement
in,
photos.
Like, the Harry Potter like uniforms. Like, why not give them their uniforms and throw it on?
Yeah, give them,
Like, it's just
that
give
would've
them some
been-
wizard threads.
That would have been nice.
It
but
literally looks like like
no,
Have Chet do it.
They essentially
what's
just
going
grabbed
on?
like, okay, they grabbed Ron, who it's a tiny little ginger kid, right?
He looks
You've got-
he looks like Ron.
Looks like Ron.
the amount of red in his hair is insane.
Oh,
by the way.
yeah.
But have you seen?
They play with the
Have
levels.
you seen the original? What's his face?
Yeah.
Rupert Grint.
But
yeah.
this guy's is almost like brighter.
No,
Like,
yeah,
he's
no,
like-
I would
Yeah,
agree.
Rupert's more orange. Harry looks fine, and then Hermione, no arguments. It's fine.
It is what
Yeah,
it is.
yeah.
It's 3 kids. I think that anyone at this point being like, boo, it's just like, okay, well, what do you want, hotter kids in here? or
Yeah,
something?
what?
Yeah,
Well,
it's
that is
weird.
not something that I would ever say.
Yeah, okay.
But
I see what you mean.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
that was not
we got
well
nothing
worded.
here.
But
There's
Yeah,
some
but
creeps
apparently,
that are upset about this.
yeah.
apparently the girl was played somebody on what's the London version of Broadway? West End, is that what it's called?
Couldn't tell you.
But anyway, she was the lead character in. It's not Annie.
West Side Story?
No.
She was
But
Annie?
anyways, they've got good acting chops for their age. So we'll see, I guess.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
there's not much you can really say.
I
About
like that they went totally unknown. I mean, it's a lot easier when they're super young, obviously.
it.
But
I mean, who else would you get?
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
Like
Millie Bobby Brown.
10-year-old are you gonna grab?
Millie
you know?
Bobby Brown's gonna play Harry.
I'm still just not thrilled with John Lithgow as Dumbledore.
Me
and
either.
obviously,
that one's weird.
Do you
to me
think
too.
it's gonna be darker in tone or lighter because it's HBO?
I think it'll be probably.
Or do you think it'll be
darker
comparable?
Darker at the beginning, I think. Like it'll be. I think it'll
Really,
be
I would think
Darker-
quite the opposite.
darker compared to the last. Like if you think about the first 2 Harry Potter movies, they're not really dark at all.
Yeah, they're more like
there's-
fun kids movies.
Yeah, so I think it'll have a darker tone than those. I think it'll keep probably like an Order of the Phoenix level of darkness all the way through.
Really? Okay. I'd be okay with like Prisoner of Azkaban.
Yeah.
It's good. It's got its lighthearted
But
fun moments.
it also just comes with the story. Like
That's
nobody's
true.
gonna die in the first 2 years, so how like dark can you make it? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like there's not really that many.
That's absolutely
stakes
true.
Yet,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, you're right.
Okay.
I mean, but like with the flashbacks with Voldemort and Harry's a kid and
True.
James.
You have that stuff. Yeah.
I do like Paul Whitehouse's Filch. That looks pretty good.
Is he really?
Yeah.
Paul White. Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
That's
I
what
didn't see
IMDb
that.
is saying. And then
I know they did go on a little bit of a casting.
Janet
Spree.
McTeer, is that her name?
Sure.
As McGonagall, Nick Frost obviously as Hagrid, and then is it Papa as CDU?
Yeah.
Papa?
Papa.
Papa?
It's Papa, I think. Papa is Seju.
Papa.
Again, I mean, obviously people are going to, you can go down to the racism part, but like the book very clearly describes what Snape looks like. Come on, guys. What are we doing?
I mean, if they wanted to like race swap anybody, there's plenty of other
anyone
characters.
else.
Yeah.
Someone that the book hasn't like aggressively described.
I think the main problem for me is it changes the like suddenly
Can't say Mudblood anymore, am I right?
suddenly Harry's dad, what's it, James? Like
Mhm.
James isn't just picking on
Well, yeah,
the
it adds
weird
like
kid,
a
he's
level
picking
of-
on
No,
the,
yeah.
he's picking on the black kid now, right?
Yeah.
Like that's a completely different thing that's going on.
I
He's
mean,
not picking on the weird kid, he's picking on the weird kid who is also black. Like that
Yeah.
changes the tone.
It adds
of
a level
everything.
of race that
he literally
wouldn't have
throws
been
him.
there otherwise.
He literally levitates him and throws him into a tree in the books.
Yeah.
How is that going to play out?
Yeah, I don't know how they're going to deal with that.
You can't. That's how.
I mean, especially with
That's
like,
in the- that's in
they're
the movie.
supposed
The
to
original.
they're supposed to flesh out more stuff with it being a season,
Yeah.
a book. Like there's a lot of stuff that they're not going to skip over. I don't know. I think we are kind of glossing over the fact that I think they're going to change a lot of shit.
You think?
I think.
I don't know.
Because I think it's going to come back. I don't want it to. I just want that to be very clear. I don't want them to change everything. I want it to be, true to the source material. I think that the source material has been done to an extent, and I think they're going to change it. I don't want them to, but I think they're going to do it.
I don't see it. Because I just think there's so many things that the original movies didn't have in it.
I mean, if they're
That I
playing
think there's enough stuff to add just purely from the books that we just haven't
well,
seen.
it's essentially the same thing that we're saying with the Songbirds thing all over again, right? Where it's like, look, every movie other than obviously the last two, we met the kids at the beginning. They had a little bit of building on like, ooh, who's the big bad right now, and then they defeat the big bad by the end of the movie.
Yep, Christmas dinner in the middle.
They are very quick. They're very quick movies. You could easily fill out a 10-episode season of a TV show with like each movie.
Yeah.
Easy. There's plenty of stuff to talk about. I mean, there's a lot of things the books just didn't go over.
I would agree.
Or that the books went over that the show didn't. But I think they need to be as like methodical with following the source material as possible, because that's what people want. They don't want to see you change everything and all of a sudden the storyline's different now.
I mean, as far as casting goes, though,
Sorry.
I am quite pleased with what they did. I think they all three look great and will do well.
Good with the kids.
Hopefully, they're good actors. Sounds like Lance is saying yes, so that's a plus.
Their IMDb pages don't really say anything, but they're also probably 9 years old. So
Or less even. Anyway, let's get into some trailers. Did you guys watch the It Welcome to Derry one?
I did.
Looks
How'd that go for you?
I did. It doesn't really scare me.
Okay.
Doesn't really scare me. It's just a bunch of people smiling and like kids.
yeah.
What I do find really interesting is like the lore behind the It series, and like I love how like obviously everyone in Derry gets like real invested into the story, and like everyone kind of knows what's going on, and then the further away you get from Derry, the more you forget about it. I think there's just lots of like little cool.
Sounds like they should just
things.
nuke Derry and everyone should go home.
But that's the thing, is that as soon as you leave Derry to tell somebody like, "Hey, let's go nuke Derry," you forget why you left.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So it comes around. It comes around every 20 years now, or 30 years. I can't remember which.
I don't
think it's 30.
I think that sounds right too. So this is before the first It movie.
I think this is his original coming, right?
No.
No.
I think
this
it's been
is-
around for
it's a prequel.
hundreds of years.
Oh, I always thought this was like him getting.
No, this is a prequel with just a different set of children.
Okay.
Yeah, this takes place in the 60s. It's the time leading up to the events of the first film in the Stephen King series. Then in the last It movie, we saw that I think the first like It thing happened in like the 20s or something. Like essentially he killed a bunch of like steel workers or
I thought we were
documented anyway.
So.
Yeah, something was documented. We didn't see it, but there was like a newspaper clipping of like horrible accident with some.
Yeah, I remember seeing that when they were going through like the archives and stuff. Yep,
yeah.
Absolutely. No, I'm excited for it though. I think it'll be. I need a good like kind of thriller anxiety booster.
Yeah,
I think the Alien. I mean, I know we're
Alien Earth.
I know we're talking about it right now, but I think Alien Earth's gonna do pretty much the same thing.
Yeah.
You know, I think that'll also cover that itch.
As like scared of these movies that I get, like I'm a big weenie. I'm not a horror movie guy, but like I do really appreciate the lore of like stuff like this, and like anything that we can get to like have more of that shit explained, I'm just here for it.
I think inherently too, it's the kid stuff is more interesting than the adult stuff. I think you could see that with It Part 2. Like, don't get me wrong, like Bill Hader, like all those other actresses, Jessica Chastain, et cetera. I liked the first one better. The second one, I liked that they killed it, but like with them being adults and killing it, it was like, I don't know, it held less weight, less.
Didn't meet as much.
Yeah, no, it didn't. No, the stakes felt lower too. And then, I was listening to Weekly Planet. Shout out those guys. It was like it's just not as cool when adults have depression and there's a scary clown.
Yeah,
it's like it's just that's true. That's totally fair.
Yeah,
that's the problem. So I think this is cool. I'm excited for it. That's the summer, no?
Also, you have a Skarsgård in there again.
I think it might be fall.
You're probably right. Yeah, and Bill Skarsgård is coming back
as Pennywise.
The only thing that I would worry about, and it's definitely a little less of a worry with it being an HBO production, the quality matching the movies.
Yeah.
I would think so. I think it's probably there.
Do we know where it's? Oh, it's HBO. Okay,
Yep.
so it'll be done well then.
Yep.
HBO really, they just, for the most part, knock it out of the park.
They try, unless there's dragons, and then they kind of botch the ending.
Yeah, and the beginnings, if the second.
Second season specifically. We got another Jurassic World Rebirth trailer. That's coming out pretty soon. Gotta be honest, they just really love showing us this autistic dinosaur.
Dude, you guys are not gonna agree with me. I love Jurassic World movies. Like I love them. I'm excited.
Why would we not agree with you?
Yeah, you're not gonna.
It's the first sane opinion you've had.
That is actually one of the only things you've said that I agree with.
Yes,
they hit all my boxes.
Here's
dude.
more. We know what's gonna happen.
Yes,
giant monsters, right? All we need is giant monsters, and you're suddenly
dude. Imagine they start riding them.
You get the MonsterVerse, you get Jurassic Park. I'm in, dude.
No, I'm good. It's like, look, is there a thing on an island we have to go pick up? Yeah,
there is a certain level of
fantastic.
MacGuffin. Like it's like, let's travel here and go get this thing and do this thing, and then we got to do this thing.
Is there a kid on an island? Probably.
Yes.
Great. Let's go get him.
There's also an unnecessary child at some point.
Is there a kid over there?
Yeah. Yes.
Gotta save.
Are they saving a child?
Maybe.
I don't think so.
Probably.
No.
No, he's just along for the ride.
Nah.
There is an unnecessary amount of like child oversight in these movies.
But I think you mentioned it. Like the stakes aren't as high if there's no child there.
That's true, but dinosaurs are definitely different than killer clowns.
I will say.
I mean, I guess in theory.
Like I don't even remember the names of the kids from the first movie.
You remember the names of the kids in the It movie?
No.
I know that there's like some
point
guy named,
proven.
Is the one guy's like Wolf something? Wolfenstein or
that's his real name, Finn Wolfhard. That's his real name.
Okay. Well, anyways,
we had the same thing last week. He's very fixated on this man. Who, by the way, I use man really lightly because he's an adult now.
Wolfenstein
is
not
a child
name. I'm sorry. That's just cool.
It is a cool name.
It's a cool name. He's been totally typecasted. He can never do anything other than horror. He got close with that one Ghostbusters movie, but that's about it.
Well, season 3
he could make a great, like, angsty, like he's getting out of it, but like an angsty teen love drama thing. I think he could do.
What, like a Lady Bird or like a 17
like
again or some shit like that?
Like I mean, you could probably even do like a Booksmart,
yeah, that's what I was thinking of. Yeah.
You know, like
well,
give it to me.
If Wolfenstein wants to do it, I'm here to watch it.
No, back to the original topic here. I really like this new trailer. It was a new full length. We got to see the dinosaur chomping around in the water. Like, that's sick. I've heard from many people at this point that is in the book, the Michael Crichton.
It was originally supposed to be in the first movie, and they just weren't able to get it done.
Yeah. Well, I mean, shocker at this point. And I think it was a George Lucas thing where just kind of waiting on tech.
Yeah.
They did a phenomenal job.
Yeah,
I actually watched a breakdown
it looks very good.
I watched the Corridor Crew breakdown on
nice.
them like chomping in the water and just the physics and like the layers upon layers of these like models, just insane detail.
Yeah. No, I'm really excited for this. Like you said, there's a whole lot of like going after a MacGuffin probably.
Yeah.
But look, this is another one of those things where it's like if you think about it too hard, it all falls apart. Let's just sit here, watch fucking big monsters. We're all gonna have a good time.
See, that's for me that's been in the comments of the Kenobi clip. Like, for those who are not understanding at all what I'm talking about, we ragged on the Kenobi Leia running in the woods away from Flea thing pretty hard.
Yeah.
People are defending that shit left and right.
If I was here, I
honestly
would have
shocking.
defended that as well.
That's crazy.
She literally is force sensitive.
We don't fucking know that, though.
Yeah.
That's the point.
So why
Force sensitive, that only gives her a 5-second head start?
Why do you need to know that?
Why does she need to be in the show at all? That was what our gripe is with. It's terribly choreographed. It looks like dog shit. She doesn't need to be there in the first place. And the reason that she kind of gets away for 15 seconds is because she runs under a log.
Yeah. What part of her force sensitivity is helping her like run through the woods better? If what you're saying is
She
that she's
can see trees.
Stop. If what you're
You
saying is
asked
that
me a
people
question.
with-
Don't stop me.
people
You
with
asked
eyes
me a
can
question.
see
Let me
trees.
talk.
You better
Let
stop.
me talk. You asked me a question. I'm going to answer it.
Here's what I'm going to
What
say.
makes?
All right, I'm
what
talking
makes-
over him. I don't
No.
care. If you're force sensitive, show me. Don't tell me. If she's force sensitive, show her jumping a distance or moving a tree or like something falls and she senses it and she gets out of the way. Something.
I get it.
Don't
I
just
get it.
run away from Flea from the Red Hot Chili Peppers for 5 minutes and be like, oh, I'm going to skedaddle this way.
I get where.
See,
this
that's
is
my
coming
problem
from.
too. Is like if you are supposed to believe that she is inclined physically, mentally, in the Force or whatever, she doesn't even get away. It's just a 20-second chase, and then they end up still catching her. I was like, what's the point? It was stupid. It was bad.
You're just
it was
wrong.
bad.
If you want to make the argument in these movies as like, okay, Finn is force sensitive. That was like the original way.
Yeah,
that was
I
gonna
would have
go,
liked to
right?
see that.
If you said, well, the reason that he was able to hold his own against Captain Depression is that he got into a lightsaber battle, right? And he was able to hold his own, and it's because he's force sensitive. I would have went there and been like, okay, he held his own against a fully trained,
Not really a reach, yeah.
whatever, not a reach. But if your argument with little Princess Leia is that she's force sensitive, so therefore she can outrun a couple of goons better than like somebody else, it just doesn't hold up for me. I'm sorry.
Yeah, the last thing I'll say is like why we're in a galaxy far, far away. Why are they not shooting her with like an electro net or some shit like that, or like wrapping her, stunning her, or anything? Like, they're running in the woods and they just grab her.
Are we not? We just talked about the Jurassic Park. If we think too hard about things, everything falls apart. That's how movies are.
I agree.
You guys just are. Do not take offense to this, but you're Star Wars nerds, right? Enjoy the movies for what they are at some points. Now, I'm not saying that the new trilogy is good by any means.
I say I'm not even specifically
They're
hating
flawed.
on this. I am specifically hating on this thing, but that's not even the worst part of the show. The thing that people are upset about on TikTok and Instagram is like, they're like, the show was actually okay. They're like, I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, it wasn't.
Pieces of the show are fine. Most of it wasn't very well written.
And honestly, most of the stuff that we liked was fan service anyway. It was the Vader and Kenobi stuff. And even that, we shouldn't have seen that. That did a disservice to both characters, and I wish we wouldn't have got it.
They wrote a really shitty Leia. They wrote a really shitty scene where he's like escaping with Leia under his coat.
Yeah.
It looks bad. I'm sorry. Reva, however much you like the character, she was written poorly.
I don't even think that Reva is the problem. You're right. It's the script was not good. The directing, the editing was not good. The fact that the majority of the show was filmed on the volume and it was quite obvious, not good. Like, it's okay to not like something.
Reva's motivation is fine, but give me better writing than gets angry and tries
or
to
give her
slash
her own
Vader.
show. Why didn't we
Yeah.
just slash? Why did we slap it in there with Kenobi?
It's just not good.
You guys are the exact reason that Star Wars is struggling, right? They're trying so hard to perfect certain things to fit into your guys' vision of what Star Wars should be. And there's 10 other people who care just as passionately as you do that think completely differently.
I don't even want...
Star Wars cannot...
The problem
Star
is...
Wars cannot handle anything right. There's just no way to perfect.
They have so much.
Argue.
They can go in so many different directions. Yet they're continuously trying to fill in gaps of things we already know. Go 30, 40 years in the future beyond like this new with
and
the
they
race
do that
stuff.
with the Acolyte, and everyone shits.
They
on
went
it.
back 1,000 years or something, like 100 years.
The problem with the Acolyte is that it doesn't follow any of the Star Wars rules.
No, I'll be the first person to admit that. I didn't think the Acolyte was that bad. I didn't really care for like the witches and stuff, or like that stuff was not. I didn't really. It's not that bad. I thought that the choreography in that was great. I thought that the kind of like the villain was great. I can't even remember what his name was. I actually quite liked that show.
But here's the thing: 9 out of 10 other Star Wars fans that feel just as passionately feel the complete opposite way of you. If one of you 10 factions of Star Wars people like something, the other 9 are not going to. There's just no way to.
Here's what you're trying to say.
You all.
Here's what you're trying to say, and you're not wrong. The worst thing about Star Wars is the fan base.
Yeah.
I will agree. We are the worst because we all get into a room together. We all start yelling, and no one agrees with anybody else. That's the problem. The solution then is to make Star Wars for a portion of that fan base. Then, I'm sorry. That's just the way you have to move forward.
I think that's where we got Andor. That's like from that. That's where we got.
Satisfy the. So you have in a room of 10 people, you can segment out like, okay, this group of people like this, they like this. Just pick the one that you think's going to pay you the most and be like, we make content for these guys now.
And I realize that I am putting you guys as the Star Wars people while wearing a Star Wars shirt.
Yeah.
But I am by far the least Star Wars of us. I've just got ragged on for my appearance.
It does look like you're on a movie podcast now, so we do appreciate it.
I decided to wear a specific movie T-shirt, and I did not know we'd be going this into Star Wars. So I just wanted to say they do like.
Yeah, he's
Star
out here
Wars
saying
better
you
than-
people.
No. Yeah, you people as I'm wearing the Star Wars.
No,
shirt. So I just wanted to address
it's totally fine. Hey, really quickly, we're at 53.
Yes, let's finish up the trailers here.
Let's give us.
I want to comment,
pod, dude. I'm back.
6-hour pod. I'm back, baby.
I do want to talk about the other trailers because I did think they were quite good. Caught Stealing. We watched that right before the pod. It looks very, very good. It's a burnt out ex-baseball player, Hank Thompson. Excuse me. Let me start over. Burned out ex-baseball player Hank Thompson unexpectedly finds himself embroiled in a dangerous struggle for survival amidst the criminal underbelly of the 1990s New York City, forced to navigate a treacherous underworld he never imagined. Directed by Aaron Aronofsky, starring Austin Butler, Zoe Kravitz, Vincent D'Onofrio. Didn't see Vincent D'Onofrio in that trailer at all. Is he one of those the Jewish guys?
I don't remember. I think he was. Yeah, I think he is.
It reminds me of a Guy Ritchie movie. Kind of the way it's quippy. It's stumbled upon some stuff.
I got Bullet Train vibes. I don't know if you guys caught that at all, but like there's some good action, and it's like lots of groups of people are all after the same kind of thing, it looks like, and then groups of people are after the person that currently has it.
Matt Smith is also in it.
Yeah.
Love him.
Big fan of Matt Smith. He's good in everything he does.
Liev Schreiber as well.
Zero interest for me in this
Zoe
movie,
Kravitz.
but it's just not a movie made for me.
I like her.
Okay.
I'm surprised you're not watching for Bad Bunny.
I don't even know who that is.
The singer rapper guy.
Oh, okay.
Mexican stuff, Hispanic stuff. I don't know.
No interest for me in this movie. I probably won't watch it, but
that's probably why I got Bullet Train vibes, because Bad Bunny was also in Bullet Train. He was. I thought he was great in Bullet Train.
I don't remember him being in it at all.
Yeah. Wasn't he in Bullet Train? Yeah, he was in Bullet Train. Yeah.
Yeah, he was.
Anyways, Austin Butler. I like Austin Butler a lot. I feel like him and Zoe Kravitz are going to probably have some pretty good on-screen chemistry. And I think Matt Smith playing like a completely I don't think he's almost unrecognizable, like his character, Matt Smith a little bit. He just looks like he's never played this person before. Interested to see it.
I think it was fairly obvious that it was Matt Smith when he was on the screen.
Okay, sorry. Unrecognizable is the wrong turn of phrase. You can clearly tell that it's Matt Smith.
He's not playing a normal...
He's playing a completely different person than he's ever played before.
Yeah.
Because he's usually witty, smart, bit of a dick. In this, he's like the comedy.
I don't know. He's got stupid hair in the House of the Dragon, too.
It's true, he does. He has a couple haircuts in that.
Yeah.
They don't get better. Your face.
We're just eating every House of the Dragon.
I don't even really have any problems with House of the Dragon. I just like jumping on Zach.
It just eats at your soul, Zach. And like, I know that it shouldn't, but I find so much joy every time that there's just the silent pain that you go through.
There's a few things. Actually, let me rephrase that. There's two things that I genuinely care about in this world. One is personal data privacy and security, and two is Game of Thrones.
And fish. You like fish.
Big fan of fish. That comes up number 3. But yeah, I eat, sleep, breathe Game of Thrones. I love it to death, and I can never get enough.
I wish you'd love it to death for the rest of us and let it finish off.
Would agree they butchered that last season, but so far House of the Dragon is looking it's great. I think season 2 kind of hung on a little bit, but
yeah,
I honestly have never watched season 2. Watched season 1 and just
I think season 2 is okay.
I'm going to go back to it.
Anyway,
I do plan on going.
Bring it back here.
The whole Woods Witch thing at Harrenhal is great. Anyways, sorry.
Caught Stealing looks good. Action, comedy, sort of ragtag, whatever. Good cast. Looking forward to it. I'm going to watch it.
Looks good.
Last one on the list, Task, HBO Max, new series starring Mark Ruffalo. Looks to be some sort of detective mystery. Someone's missing. Someone maybe isn't missing.
I get Ozark vibes. I like the way it looks like it's filmed with like a real dark.
It looks like HBO. I was thinking more True Detective, kind of.
Oh yeah,
it feels like that. They all kind of have that feel. HBO shows.
So far, from what I've seen in this trailer, it looks good.
It looks good. I wish I liked Mark Ruffalo more, but I think I will definitely be watching.
Yeah.
Ironically, it does have Fabian Frankel in it.
Why is that?
AKA Sir Kristen Cole from House of the Dragon.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
I hate that guy. He sucks in that show, dude.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Sir Kristen Cole is.
It just clicked for me.
Wow. Okay. I haven't. That must be a season 2 development.
No, it's mid season 1.
Sir Kristen Cole is in season 1.
No, I know. I just don't remember him.
He's just a big old piece of shit. And
that's because he didn't get any underage box, really.
Okay.
That's what. No, it's in the show.
I know it's in the show.
That's why. Because he's a piece of garbage. She may have been.
He definitely gets he gets what he wants in the first season, and then he gets tossed aside because he's like, hey. Rhaenyra, come run away with me. Leave your riches and fortune behind. And then she's like, no. He's like,
do it.
I'm big angry now.
I'm going to go be buddies with your stepmom.
Yeah, I'm going to go bang your stepmom while you're not looking.
Yes, it's quite interesting. Anywho, movie of the week is actually a bunch of movies. We're going to be talking about the Mission Impossible franchise. So Dead Reckoning just came out. Final Reckoning just came out. Watched it in theaters. I myself watched. Lance watched. Zach has not. You are on which one?
I'm on number 6.
You're on number 6.
I went real hog wild this week on Mission Impossible. I watched 1 through 5, and I'm halfway through 6.
Okay, so I've seen all of them.
Yep.
1 through 8. Lance has seen 1 and 8?
And 6.
And 6.
And 6.
So if his opinions suck.
6.
That was the one you saw in theaters with me. And
you didn't like.
To be honest with you, do you want me to just go into my whole spiel now? Is that what we're?
Well, here's my thing.
Me up for because I'm ready.
No. I don't want to like toss you out to dry. But here's my question. First of all, how dare you? Just kidding. No.
This discussion topic almost kicked me off the pod this week. By the way, I was almost not allowed back because of my.
There were some heated text exchanges
I was
about
sitting there
watching
with literally with popcorn, watching my phone go off.
You should have seen how big of a grin I had.
Okay.
I was.
But here's my problem is that like in one sentence you'll say, don't think about it too much. Mm-hmm. If you think about it, then you're gonna ruin it for yourself. Jurassic Park.
Yep.
Okay. And then on the other hand, you're like, I hate John Wick and Mission Impossible movies because it's just all shooty, bang, bangy, and I don't really care too much.
Yes, I don't care about that kind of action. Okay. It's not that I like think that the plot is thin. It's that I just don't care to watch. Like, yeah, it's cool that he flips a helicopter, I guess, but like, do I care that?
care?
Like, I know he's gonna live.
You
so
like-
like what's the I don't know. There's just no stakes to me. Like, we know it's a Mission Impossible movie, right?
They all seem fairly
The mission
possible.
is always gonna be possible at the end. So
no,
like,
yeah.
it's a linear story. So let me get into my whole spiel, right? I think Mission Impossible 1 is bad. Straight up bad movie, okay? I do not enjoy it. I do not think anyone should enjoy it. I would not watch it. I've heard, and I can't say it, but I've heard that Mission Impossible 2 is worse. How they made a third one after that is beyond me. But so we get to 6, right?
Let me stop you right there really quickly.
Okay.
From someone that's now watched this week 1 through 5, 1 is fine, aggressively fine. You have to almost watch it in the lens of like 80s action movie
Yep.
where it's like,
No, you absolutely do.
you can't take it for what it is right now. You to be like, oh, this was probably pretty crazy back in the 80s. I don't think Tom Cruise knew how to act. It just wasn't. It was
wasn't
fine.
in it.
That one also was
late
more
90s.
Was it
more
90s?
kind of
Okay.
like
Well, it
isolated.
felt like they were making an 80s movie to me.
Exactly. That's
Yeah.
that's a problem 10
Now,
years late.
number 2, they had somewhat of an idea of what they wanted these movies to be, I think. But they were like, we don't really have the writing. We're going to jump around everywhere.
Yeah.
Let's just get a hot chick and show cleavage a whole bunch. It wasn't good. It was aggressively bad. Number 2, I anger watched that movie. It was not good. By number 3, though, I was like, okay, it's like someone figured out finally, they're like, all right, we know where we want the series to go. We know what the stakes need to be. We know that they always have like some kind of MacGuffin to go after. We get it. They're always going to win at the end, but this is what these movies are about. And then essentially, they keep going.
What's unfortunate, though, and I'll let you get back to your point,
Yeah, you're good.
is that the last two, for me, being a fan of the franchise as a whole, the last two have just become like a Tom Cruise stunt off versus himself, essentially. It's unfortunate, too, because I think sometimes the story can be like negatively affected.
I feel like Tom Cruise thinks that people go to these movies to see the stunts.
Well, I mean, to an extent, I do like seeing them. That's not a problem to me. It definitely is one of the draws. It's not the main draw. Of 3, 4, 5, and 6, those are my favorites. Like those all, like you said, they've kind of figured out what they wanted to be. He's a cool guy. There's like lots of cool behind dude in the chair stuff with Benji.
Yeah.
And I mean, like they fleshed out the cast too. Like they have Rebecca Ferguson,
Who's
Simon
phenomenal,
Pegg,
by the way.
the dude that plays Luther. I can't ever think of his name.
All
they're all
3 of those
great.
people were fantastic.
They're fantastic. And they all play really well with each other.
Yep.
Honestly, there's a lot of people who probably disagree with me. Jeremy Renner was aggressively fine in these movies. I like his character.
I like his character a lot. I don't really have any qualms.
He's kind of like this, like
He plays a
denier,
good-
doubter. Like
He plays a good in between.
he's
Like,
this, yeah,
I'm the CIA, but also I'm on the impossible mission force.
yeah.
Yeah.
He's just like I'm here. I'm along for the ride, and helps every once in a while. And then the way that they kind of intertwine him in 4 Ghost Protocol into Ethan's story, I thought was fine. And the tiebacks to 3, and like I think everything flows very well. So I think that whatever you end up saying, I think is
Yeah,
ultimately
I'm gonna let you go.
whatever you end up
And
saying.
then I have a
think
hot take.
is ultimately, I think you're doing yourself a disservice by not watching them all
Okay.
in order specifically, which I think is I won't beat you to death with it anymore.
I respect your
Fervor.
goal or like encouragement. that
I
I'm
just
getting.
want someone to watch it in
No,
its
I
entirety
know
before
that's what
you
want.
come to
No,
an
I know
like.
that's what you want, and I can watch one of these movies and say, like, this just isn't my cup of tea. It's just not, But I will say, 1, I thought was bad. 6, I think the biggest disappointment for me was I had never seen a Mission Impossible movie before. We go out to dinner. You and whoever else was there were hyping up this thing, and I'm like, oh, this is going to be awesome. And then I get up there, and then I'm like, this isn't for me. Like, this just isn't my kind of action. It's not my excitement. So I think that's where a lot of that came from.
Yeah, you were a victim of your own expectations.
So I go into Mission Impossible 8, right? Not excited to see it, but I feel like as a movie podcast guy, it is now my duty to go.
So fairly neutral.
Yeah. So I go in, like, I'm not, like, oh, this is going to suck. I kind of am. I'll be fair. I kind of am, especially because it's fun. Like, if the movie sucks and I get to rag on Jacob, like, that's enjoyable to me.
You like being a hater.
Yeah. But I did. So the very first thing that I think, right, we go into, I think it's London, and there's End It Now chance, and I'm like, if only it was the movie, right? End it now, and we're done. Like, that would be great. Like, I'd never have to think about this movie again. I can go on to the next big thing, but so that doesn't happen, right? I did have a few problems, and I'm going to go into some spoilers now, so if you don't want to hear them, skip through until you see one of these other guys yapping.
Before we get to the actual new movie, I have one point.
Okay.
I want to agree with you.
Okay.
I think that, and this is a hot take.
Yeah.
I think you can go into any Mission Impossible movie after 2, so 3 through 8, and I think they're standalone films. They kind of build off each other a little bit, and you get to know the cast more if you watch the other ones, but I think for the most part, you get the gist.
You understand the plot.
You get it.
There's a mission. It's impossible. He goes to do the mission.
I agree with you generally, except 7 and 8 may as well have been like a 6-hour movie.
You see, but I didn't think, like, I thought they had enough flashbacks and stuff where
There
I
wa-
wasn't confused
but, like,
what was going on.
We'll get into it
And so,
after
like,
this, but
when
I'll let
Lance
you know.
says, like, hey, this really isn't my thing, I think if take out 1 and 2, I would say 3 through 8. If you've watched 2 of those movies and you're just like, this isn't my thing, you pretty well have the gist of the rest of the movies. That's fair. If it's just not your thing, it's just not your thing.
Yeah.
But I don't think that you have to watch them 3 through 8 and be like, well, this one builds on this and this build. It kind of does, but at the same time, it's like, it's still Tom Cruise jumping off the building.
To an extent, it is villain of the week. It's not kind of.
fine.
With the exception, though, of 5 and 6, with Lane being in both.
Yeah.
But then in this new one, we do get callbacks to Mission Impossible 3.
Well, it's kind of
with
like
the rabbit's foot.
It's kind of like, okay, well, that's kind of cool. But it's kind of like the John Wick movies, right? Where it's like, okay, you can go into Parabellum and be like, someone's after him, and he's a really good assassin, and that's kind of all you need to know.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now,
that's it.
Let me get back into my
Yeah, finish it off here.
Let me finish it off.
All
I'm
right.
hardly started.
Lance,
you guys just everything I'm talking. Okay,
Lance is now in the theater, popcorn in hand.
Yep. So
Eating
I'm going to
it
go
weird,
through
like
a
Tom
couple of
Cruise.
spoilers. They're not major spoilers, but if you don't want to hear them, plug your ears, pretend la la.
Does he win?
Go ahead.
The mission was not impossible. That's all I'll say about that.
Not for Ethan Hunt.
But so Luthen, right? I thought the whole Luthen scene.
Luther
scene. I mean, you know what I'm talking about. I just thought it was kind of cheesy. It didn't
Spoil away, by the way. I don't care. Go for it.
So he gets trapped.
I'm gonna watch.
The reason it's cheesy, though, is because he has cancer. Like, he's going to die already.
Right.
So he makes the sacrifice.
There's no stakes. He's a dead man walking, and he has to. Why does he have to solve the puzzle? Like, why is this dude spending 45 minutes making a puzzle down beneath the surface for something that's already going to explode that he doesn't want to explode? What's the point of that? There's no point.
I think you're totally misunderstanding it as a whole. It sounds like. Go ahead, continue, but I think you're just.
But so I just thought that part was like, oh, it's a mission inside of a mission for no reason. That's what I got from it. The underwater sequence and the airplane sequence, way too long. Both of them went on way too long. They were like 30-minute scenes each with no talking. You know what's going to happen by the end of them.
How long is this movie?
It's a pretty long movie.
It's like almost a 3-hour movie.
Oh shit!
That I can agree with you. I don't think the scenes or like the sequences themselves are bad.
No,
but I think they did need truncated a little bit.
They just didn't. We just didn't need it all. Like we knew he was going to get out of them both, right? Like he was going.
With the exception, I do really like the part where he's on the plane and he's like controlling the plane with the rudder.
I mean, sure, but you could do that 10 minutes in. Why
I think
have 40 minutes?
Both of the deaths, though, I thought were funny too. The way he got.
Both. I don't remember the one.
Killed the guy in the yellow plane by like spinning it upside down and letting him flop out. Yeah.
I thought you were saying one in each scene.
No.
So I just thought both of those were not great.
Yeah.
And then also in the water scene, he definitely cannot survive without this high-tech gear. The high-tech gear fails and he still survives. Like,
well, he doesn't. He doesn't survive. He dies, and then they revive him.
Yes, but like, come on. Like, if you're not surviving that, that's not humanly possible. Like, there's got to be some...
That's why it's called Mission Impossible.
It's stupid. It's stupid. You type up, oh, yeah, he cannot survive without
we're coming back, though, exactly to what you're saying. It's like, you just want to not think about it.
No.
But now all the things that you're upset about are things that you're thinking about. Why can't you suspend? Why can't you suspend your reality for both of those things? That's your exact argument.
No, I could suspend it, but when you go into this big spiel about how you can't survive without it, like if they didn't mention it,
you knew it was coming. It's very predictable, obviously.
No. But you make this big spiel about how you have to have this certain thing that has never been tested. You will die without it. It immediately goes away, and he survives.
It doesn't immediately go away. The reason that he takes it off is because he couldn't fit through the tube.
I get it. I get why he didn't have it. He should have died. If
he did die.
No, but you can't.
He did die.
Your brain implodes at that amount of weight. Like, sorry, it's just dumb.
Oh, at that depth?
Yeah, at that depth. Like, you're just dead.
I don't think it was it was more like he ran out of oxygen and got the
I'm fine
whatever they called.
I'm fine if he survives. If they don't make such a big deal about him needing the suit to survive. That's my problem.
No, that's why. No, that's the impossible part is that he needs this thing to survive, yet he doesn't need it. That's because it's the entire franchise really is just Tom Cruise convincing himself that he is like this superhuman person.
And that's why the whole series sucks. Like, I'm sorry, but you're getting me off on a tangent that makes me want to roast this thing. I was actually going to be nice to it. Is it for me? No. Will I watch any of the other ones? Unless I get threatened to get kicked off the pod again? Probably not.
But that's the thing, is that, like, we know... But I know that the stakes aren't, like, unreasonably high because Ethan always gets the guy. He always gets his guy, right? He always finishes the mission. But, like, what I kind of enjoyed so far in my watch through is that, like, there are some twists.
Well, the stakes though are not whether he's going to die or not. It's the stakes are whether he's going to save his loved ones.
Yeah.
And he's lost a couple.
Yeah, no, he's
like
lost
there
a
definitely
couple.
are stakes.
And there's a couple times where I was like, oh, I didn't see that twist coming.
Like in 3, where Kerry Russell's character, like they think they get away and bzz, dead.
Well, that happened immediately, but then in that same.
In 1, he loses his whole team.
Well, the same movie, number 3, what's his face? Seymour Hoffman shoots his wife, right? In the opening scene, shoots his wife. And then it comes back around, shoots his wife again.
Well, it cuts at the gunshot.
And then you end up seeing that, like, they had an actual, like, they had a mask on.
Yeah, it was like his interpreter or something.
His assistant, right? So, like, there are some twists and turns, and I'm here for that. I think it's fine. But as far as, like, actual stakes go, it's like America's number one. We're always going to win. You know?
It is very patriotic.
Can I finish now?
Yeah.
Was it enjoyable to me? Sure. Yeah, that one was fine. Am I glad that I hope this is the final reckoning? Yes, I am. Because I get that a lot of other people like the Mission Impossibles. I don't. I would like to see Tom Cruise do something else before he stops acting. So give me something else that's not a Mission Impossible movie.
Hear me out. Days of Thunder 2 or Top Gun 3?
There's actually a rumor.
Both are on the table, I believe.
I know, but which one do you want first?
Days of Thunder. Yeah.
I'm going something. What's Days of Thunder?
It's an 80s movie where Tom Cruise plays a NASCAR driver named Cole Trickle.
Yeah.
He doesn't listen to the rules, and he's really good.
You're missing a third option.
Robert Duvall's there.
Okay.
And he was talking with McQuarrie.
Oh, God.
The director.
Chris McQuarrie?
Yeah, Chris McQuarrie. He wants to make a spin-off featuring Tom Cruise's Tropic Thunder character.
Oh yeah, I did see that.
Give me that one. Yeah. Give me that one.
I'd watch a movie about Les Grossman. That'd be fucking hilarious.
Yep.
As far as, like, acting chops go,
choice.
Like, Tom, like, you might not be the biggest Tom Cruise fan, but he is Mr. Hollywood.
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, the guy can do anything.
More or less can point to him saving it during COVID.
He really does have a tooth in the middle of his face, though.
Really does.
I was watching that the whole time, and it is just
once you notice it, you can't unnotice it. Yeah, it's distracting for sure.
I will say, Final Reckoning is it Asai Morales? Is that his name?
Gabriel, yeah.
Yeah, he was also in a handful of episodes of
Ozark, I believe. He's the guy.
No,
in
actually,
Ozark.
you're doing the same thing that I thought of. It's the guy in Ozark's name is Benjamin Bratt, and Asai Morales is in Final Reckoning, and also in shit, I lost it. What's the one family movie? It's like a TV show. It's about 3 different families.
Modern Family.
Modern Family, yeah. He's Javier in Modern
Asai
Family.
Morales is in Ozark.
Asai Morales, okay, and then Benjamin Bratt.
That's a different dude.
Wait, Benjamin Bratt is in Final Reckoning, yes?
No, Benjamin Bratt is not in Final Reckoning.
So what's he?
Asai Morales is in Ozark.
Oh,
and
just
Asai-
kidding. I'm looking at Andor.
Yeah,
I
I was
thought
gonna
the guy.
say.
Okay, Asai Morales and Benjamin Bratt. They look very similar. Anyways, in Andor he plays Bail Organa, and I thought it was Asai Morales. So here's the thing about Mission Impossible. Is it good? So far, I've enjoyed my time. Do I think you have to watch all of them in succession? No. I think you can go through, pick your ones that you like, whatever. I think that so far of the ones that I've seen, I think 3 is my favorite. Weirdly enough. Philip Seymour Hoffman, I think, really does it for me as far as like being the bad, like the big bad. The rest of them so far have just been like some random Eastern European guy that's got like a new.
I mean, so you've seen 1 through 4 essentially, right? And you're like a quarter of the way through 5.
No, I'm halfway through 6.
Oh, so you're okay. Yeah. You're right.
But no, I think Philip Seymour Hoffman is my favorite of the villains so far.
Yep.
But yeah,
I think that you'll quite like this one, The Fallout. I think.
I'm gonna probably just restart number 6 because at this point I forgot what's happening.
Yes. I like Mission Impossible.
Do
I
you?
like all of the movies.
No way.
I like Tom Cruise. I like him doing cool stuff.
I didn't expect that out of him.
I think they accomplished exactly what they set out to do, and
If
they
bad
found themselves
movies is
along
what
the
they
way.
anticipate doing.
It said I read an article. He said that it took him 35 years to figure out Top Gun Maverick. How did it take that long?
What do you mean?
Like to figure out the sequel to Top Gun Maverick. He was like, I want to do a sequel to Top Gun, but it took him 35 years to figure out the story.
He's just doing other stuff, doing Mission Impossible.
But the story wasn't that complex. It was just like
He was waiting for Miles Teller.
go vroom vroom in jet plane.
He was tracking the.
It wasn't bad. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying like, hey man, maybe save us before COVID next time. You know what I mean?
Yep, no, I agree.
I don't know.
Anyway, so we got a bunch of discussion questions to get into this week. We have some big what ifs, some what do you thinks, and some how do you feel about that. First one up on the docket here. Is Marvel hurting or helping itself by delaying the Avengers movies?
I mean, I guess it's helping because the movie was going to be bad if they push it out then. I think they're hurting themselves with over-planning and over-hyping time frames and things that aren't happening. So it's helping in the sense that they're making a better movie because of it. Mm-hmm. They're hurting themselves and their credibility as like, hey, this is when these things are coming out. Like, we'll probably get the next docket of movies come San Diego Comic-Con. I'm not going to believe a word they say.
Yeah, I mean,
who cares?
You're essentially meaningless.
So what I was going to say is like you essentially just made my point for me. Is that like regardless of what they say on the reasoning behind it, they're only hurting themselves by delaying things now because people will only speculate moving forward. It's literally the exact same problem we had with Star Wars Starfighter. They couldn't find somebody to play the villain for 2 weeks. And everyone's online like, oh my God, is it because it's a shitty movie and there's a bad script? And it's like, no, it's been 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Can we just fucking calm down for a second? With pushing back Doomsday, it's like, hey, there's 100 superheroes that are going to be in this movie. Maybe the reason really is just we're trying to get people scheduled to line up, but it doesn't matter what the answer is because it's in such a bad spot as it is already that it's like anything you say other than it's on time, people are going to get mad about it.
It's got to be a logistics nightmare. I can't imagine.
No, I can't even imagine.
Yeah, but
can you imagine how many assistants are on set right now getting coffees?
Well,
It's crazy.
What you're forgetting though is like
Coffee bill through the roof.
It's not like this date popped up a year ago and they had 12 months to clear out a calendar. It's been 5-10 years in the past that they've known, hey, this is when the next Avengers movie's coming out. Like you clear those schedules, you start filming when you want. Like this is on the director, this is on Kevin Feige, this is on all of those producers. This should have happened by now.
I hate to give them like so much benefit of the doubt, and I apologize for cutting you off there.
No, you're good. I was done.
But like I hate to give them a benefit of the doubt on this one, but it's kind of like maybe in the contracts again, they had to have a date somewhere so that they could get a contract finalized and finished up. Maybe that's.
I mean, sure, but then stick to that date, right? Like it's been so long ago. Like actors, like are obligated to make that work.
But also, to be fair, like having this whole thing be not Kang the Conqueror threw everything off for him. And they've been playing pickup for 3 years now.
True. That's fair.
The problem that I have is just with the actors. Like, I like a lot of the actors that are in the MCU outside of the MCU. The most recently are Mahershala Ali. Like, that dude wasn't able to do anything because he thought he was going to be playing Blade. Like, with them moving things back 6 months, 8 months, a year, that's just it. How are you supposed to squeeze in other stuff?
We aren't going to see Blade.
No, that's what I'm saying. We're not getting we waited forever for Blade, and then now he's out. Like I don't know what's going on.
The only person that says that we're going to see Blade is Mahershala Ali. He's the only one that's like, well,
yeah, maybe
we might see Blade. He's not going to be.
Okay, that was a bad example then. But like, I mean, I want to see Tom Holland and other stuff.
We're definitely not going to see Kit Harington as Black Knight.
If he's going to be wrapped up as
Uncharted 2, is that what we're talking?
Oh God, no! Uncharted 1 was terrible, dude. Oh gosh.
No, if you're Marvel, I think that any time that like, let's say Tony Stark has, I don't know, a stuffy nose one day and has to like reschedule a shoot or something, it's like the end of the world is happening because you're like, oh my God, if this leaks, they're gonna be like, oh, because they lost RDJ and
it's Jordan flu game every day.
Here's the thing, like they've lost that trust. Like that doesn't happen. It didn't happen right after the last two Avengers.
That's the point. They have to rebuild the trust with the fan base, and then they can go for profits. At this point, they just need to give me 2 solid movies a year that are well put together, well written, and everything comes out on time. Do that for a couple years, and then you start rebuilding your fan base up, and then start going for the money play.
I'm the one person that I think still wants to see. I would still like to see 4 Marvel TV shows a year. We're not going to see that, but like. The issue for the TV shows wasn't how many are coming out. The issues were the continuity and the people making them. Right?
The budgets too. It felt like they were playing with pennies.
Well, no, Disney just flat out said like it's a shotgun approach. They're just like get as much out there as you can. Then they just couldn't follow it up.
You can make 4 good TV shows a year. You just need to have them planned in advance. So if we have to go, here's one, and then we're back to getting 4s, that's fine. But I think the main problem for the TV shows was they were just coming on so like they didn't have the time, right? They were rushed, just like Avengers Doomsday was rushed, but they didn't have that option to push it back. So,
Isn't it fair to say that like He Who Remains was a huge part of Loki, and then to have to change all that up at the very end? Isn't it fair to say that like He Who Remains was a huge part of Loki, right? To have him no longer in the MCU, they had to change a whole bunch of TV shows anyways, because I bet he showed up in a bunch of other stuff too. It wasn't just that. 3 years.
I don't know. I mean, nothing on film that we had seen, but definitely mentioned and that sort of thing in scripts. Absolutely.
I'm sure. No, I'm just saying that like not having Kang in this really threw off the last 3 or 4 years. Just simply like all the stuff they had like planned and worked together in the continuity issues, they had to pull him out and then rewrite everything.
Well, like you said, still picking up the pieces. Absolutely. Yeah. Why does the MCU not trust Spider-Man to have a true solo movie?
I don't think it's that to me.
It's because Zendaya can't carry without anybody else.
I think at first it was to build that relationship between him and Stark, right? So we could get that emotional moment. Like we don't have that moment in Endgame without that. Right?
That's true. Yeah,
we don't get the Infinity War or the Endgame moment without that. But we for this one. I think that this is more, using a Spider-Man movie to explain why Hulk didn't fit in, like I said earlier, doesn't fit into their Doomsday movie. Because it doesn't make sense just not to have Hulk. Like, it just doesn't. Like, he's an Avenger, and you're having an Avenger movie, and he's not going to be in it. Like, you have to explain that somehow. So I think explaining him off doing something different with Spider-Man kind of does that. Whether it actually makes sense or not, we'll see. But it's just, a reason to not have him in Doomsday. And it probably keeps budgets a little closer.
I think he might be operating on dated information there, though, because I'm fairly certain he was on the second list. I think Mark Ruffalo as Banner was on the second list.
And he may have been.
But I think he's in Avengers Doomsday.
I don't think it'll be a major role. If I was... nothing's... I mean, we're all purely speculating, right? But, like, you don't skip main characters in that first reveal. Like, you skip the characters that you aren't sure are actually going to show up yet or haven't signed yet, so they're not going to have as big of a role. To me. Maybe that's wrong.
I just think Marvel saw, like, dollar signs, and they're like, if the more superheroes we can get into each film, the more money we make.
Yeah.
I really think it's just that. I don't think it's a matter of, like, not trusting Spider-Man to pull the crowd. I think it's like, ooh, he's got Doctor Strange there, too. That's cool.
Little Easter eggs, little cherries on top.
It's fan service. I mean, it's just getting... Oh, you mean the Hulk shows up in this one? I'll go see that.
Well, I think for me, it comes down to the comics. Like, you get crossover stuff all the time. Rarely do you not have at least somebody else making an appearance. Mm-hmm. And I feel like it's like that. It would be cool. I mean, I guess we really didn't have any other superhero in Far From Home. I guess like Mysterio, but he was the villain, obviously, and he's not a hero. But like, it was just Spider-Man.
Mysterio showing up though is like a pretty big comic pull.
No.
I don't think Stark was in. No, Iron Man Tony was not in.
No, but
Far From
Happy
Home.
Was, right?
Yeah, but he's not a superhero.
And was something tells me this could be completely wrong. Was Wong in?
Maybe, but like again, he's not like a main character.
I don't think so. I think we pretty much only saw Mysterio.
Homecoming though with Tony, that was a big thing.
But here's the other thing you have to consider, right? Like, we have so many characters that we need to see and get through, and like, if they don't have a movie coming up and they still need to find ways to develop those characters, right?
Yeah.
Like, there's no Hulk movie coming up, but we still need to see his character develop, right? Like, we haven't seen him except for in She-Hulk, right? Like, that, I think that's the only time we've seen him since the last Avengers movie. Well, he was in Thor. So, Thor and then She-Hulk. Like, we need to see him again before we get that developed. Like, we need to see his character, how his character
most of
developed
his
the last
large
5 years.
character changes have been at the end of Ultron, Ragnarok, and then I guess now this, aside from his solo movie.
Yeah, so I just think we need to see that.
Endgame, I guess he was Professor Hulk or whatever.
I think we might get a standalone Hulk movie if Fantastic Four does well. Like, I think they're, like, I wouldn't say they're afraid to make a Spider-Man its own movie just because that gets done so well. But they have tried to make 2 or 3 standalone Hulk movies now, and they just haven't gone over very well.
I just don't see them trying to do Hulk again with Bruce Banner. Like, I could see, I don't know anything about Hulks. Like, if there's a new Hulk eventually, like if someone else takes over the role of Hulk that's not Bruce Banner, I could see them trying again. I don't think that we'll ever see Mark Ruffalo and the Bruce Banner that we know in the MCU have a standalone movie.
Hulk,
I just don't think
he can like in the comics, just gets like bigger and angrier.
Yeah.
I just don't think we'll see it.
Do you think that we're reaching the end of some of these actors
aging out of the roles? I think Mark Ruffalo is getting there. I mean, in that trailer we just watched for Task, he is considerably older than we saw him in Avengers.
I mean, same with RDJ. I think that I don't really know what the plan is, obviously. Like, but he looked fairly old in Endgame, and when he died, it was like, okay, perfect.
It's like
he doesn't have to come back.
I know that we've wanted to kind of get into this discussion topic a couple times, but like, is it time to start killing off these characters because we just have to?
Yeah.
Because are people going to be okay with a recast of Tony Stark?
No.
I don't think so.
Here's the only way you can do some of these, right? Is in this, when they hard reset, you pull from other places. That's the only way you can get it done. And after what we have after the second Avengers movie coming up is what will be for the foreseeable future, right? Like the only way you can get, because Bruce Banner, if we are going to get a new one, if we're going to see one, it's going to be picked off a different world, right? That's the only option that makes any sort of sense that people will not riot in the streets about.
I think it's not going to be the most popular thing, but I think that like a reset probably has to happen, and then you have to end with like one of the big bad villains. So you have to have Marquis of Death or something in there that wipes the slate clean, and then Marvel says, all right, now we're on the 10012 Earth, and here is what the superheroes look like.
I mean, do we think that Galactus is that, or like the Living Tribunal or something like that? Like, are we headed towards a reset?
You see, I think
we have to.
I don't think you can.
Is Doom?
I don't think you can do that though, because what, we're just getting rid of every character that we've ever known, like that.
No. So it's effectively it's a complete like wipe of 616 universe, and then it restarts in another universe.
You see, I just don't think you can do that, because like all of these characters that you've, like, yes,
I didn't say it would be a good, like, people aren't going to love it, but you can't recast Tony Stark because you'll have a riot in the streets. And like we just talked, Thor is on his last movie. Like, this is the last one. What are you gonna do?
You're just gonna have, to me, you just have a new set of characters, right? And let's say you want to keep a Hulk, right?
Yeah.
You find a young guy who's a Bruce Banner from a different world. Our Bruce Banner dies, right? And for some reason, somehow he keeps on Battle World. He survives and he joins up with these other characters, and you take him back to 616, right? To me, that's the only way. Like, you have all these characters, and then like this character,
there's just
exciting.
a lot.
People like him. Bring him back with us.
There's just a lot of characters that are out there still that like we could explore, like Molecule Man. Give me Molecule Man, but like he doesn't play as well as like Tony Stark would. I don't think, and he's too powerful. So like right now you're kind of reaching the end of like the street level heroes and the slightly above street level heroes of like Iron Man and your Daredevil, that kind of stuff.
I think we just need to. There's just not enough room in the sandbox at this point. I think we just need to.
I think we have to
cut some oldies.
I think a lot of people are gonna die in this next Avengers movie. But to be honest,
gotta take out the trash.
This might all be moot if these next two movies do not do well. Like, you either see a reset, reset, like
reboot,
there's a brand new Marvel.
I hate to break your bubble or burst your bubble, but a lot of people die on Battle World.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
like, that doesn't burst my bubble. That's what I expect, right? But let's say those movies are bad. All of that's going to be moot anyways. We're going to have a new MCU-esque reboot that we see with James Gunn and DC. Like, it's just, like, if the movies are failing, you're going to reset, get your big characters back, find new great actors to fill those roles, and do it all again until it all falls apart again. And that's a sad thing to say, because you don't get to see some of these crazier, more exciting stories. But like, if it's too hard to do and people don't want to see it, you're not going to get to see it.
See, that's the thing though, is that like, it's really difficult to translate like comics into movies, because comic books, you have different runs of characters and they never age out and they never get recasted or whatever. And so you can say like, okay, during the Ultimate Avengers run, Iron Man does all these things. And then you have the Dark Avengers run and Iron Man does all of these things. And it's like, you don't really have to like worry about recasting or aging out or resetting, because it's a different run of a comic book. Mm-hmm. And so it's hard to say, okay, in the multiverse saga, Iron Man did all of this, but now we're going to go down this train, and it's like, well, do you just say it's on a different Earth and go over here?
I see the problem.
It's hard.
Yeah, like you have all this different source material where they don't ever overlap, and then you try and squeeze it all into one guy.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, what we're reaching now.
Well, even in the comics, you have superheroes with like 3 or 4 different origin stories, because you had a different writer that just took on a whole swath of new comics. And it's like, oh, well, you either have to pick that, like, hey, look, we're going to follow this storyline, or we're going to do this over here. But like in the comics, you can just be like, oh, well, that's what happened in the Sam Kirby, whatever the hell comics, and it's not attached to this over here. It's just something different.
I think we're overlooking another big difference between comics and movies, right? Like, you can maybe make, if you are super, super for it, you can make one movie a year with a character, right? You can make 52
just
comics
infinite storylines.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, you can make so many more, but there's only, you only have time for one movie.
I think
right?
the other very kind of upfront problem is that with these huge crossover and like ensemble comics that you want, like the Infinity War, Endgame, Doomsday, Secret Wars, that's just inherently expensive.
Yeah.
Like, you got to pay a lot of people, especially the problem that the MCU is seeing right now is we kind of took these nobodies, or at least we're just regular old actors that are our A-list superstars because of these things, that you have to pay superstar money. Like if you would kind of take, nobodies or general unknowns, you're not having to pay these quadrillion-dollar, like RDJ numbers to people. Like I'm not giving some Joe Schmo a plane.
But RDJ kind of was a Joe Schmo, right?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's what I said. They built it up. That they've kind of created their own problem.
This comeback, yeah. Well, how much is he getting paid for the last two? Like $80 million or
Oh
something?
my gosh,
crazy?
something insane.
Yeah.
They give him a plane. Like the only way he would come back, I don't remember the specifics, but I know that a plane was in the contract.
Yeah, give me a jet and $80 million, and I'll come back to save your movie.
He's gonna put T Swift's carbon emissions to shame.
It's sad to say because I am a big Marvel guy, but I truly do think that we're getting close to the end. Like, I don't know that it's sustainable. It was a good run, but like people aren't seeing movies like Thunderbolts. We don't have like people just aren't going to the movies with the cast of characters that we have now. And those characters, like those characters are getting older, right?
Yeah.
They're not filling the seats. So we're either going to have a hard reset, we're going to have a break, we're going to see the end, we're going to see Star Wars level where we're only seeing one every 4 years.
Or they're not well received, and then we don't see any.
Yeah.
The other thing, too, is like, and Kevin Feige even admitted it, I mean, you got to think about it, like if you were to jump on the Marvel train right now, think about how much stuff you'd have to watch. Because all of this story is all cohesive. Everything links to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next. Like, it truly would feel like homework. Like, oh, I got to go home and watch
40 movies,
15 episodes of whatever, or I got to watch 3 seasons of this or 2 seasons of Loki, and then all 3 Marvel or Captain America movies. Like, I don't blame people for kind of being overwhelmed by it or not even really being interested.
One small thing I think we are slightly overlooking, just that people aren't going to the movies anymore, is that like I think people's fun money is kind of running out. And this isn't going to be like an economics podcast, but like I think we're getting to the point where like things aren't going amazing in the last 4 or 5 years, right? Post-COVID.
100%.
Like people's fun money is just out. So they're just not going and dropping $50 on movies. They'd rather just wait till it hits streaming.
No, I agree. I mean, that $50 is freaking spot on.
Yeah.
I mean, $15 for the ticket. I spent for a large popcorn, large drink, and a candy. $22.50, something like that. Yeah. I mean, I'm not really complaining about that. Like, you kind of know that going in. That's where the money. That's where the theaters.
I don't think that we're the average viewer. We obviously have a podcast where we talk about Marvel movies, right? So, like, look, it's almost like going and seeing these movies as part of our like job at this point, kind of. So, like, we're going to see them, but like your average, I don't think your average person, especially like.
I mean, look at it from the family perspective. You want to take your 3 kids to go see a Marvel movie,
you're at
like $150, $200. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
You're buying concessions and all that stuff.
It doesn't compute anymore. I think people's fun money is just out, and you really have to give them a reason to go, and the value has to be there.
No, I totally agree.
Yeah.
Not that a small child is drinking an entire or eating an entire thing of popcorn, large or whatever.
But they should.
They should.
Yeah.
And
no, but I mean, families talk about that kind of stuff all the time, where it's like, look, I used to be able to go to McDonald's and feed my 4 kids for $25, and now it's like I can't get out of there for less than $60.
Yeah.
Things are just more expensive now.
That's absolutely true. Alrighty, we had a bunch of extra topics to talk about, but it was a Marvel and Mission Impossible podcast this week. So thank you so much for listening. We're gonna continue this by talking about what we were watching this week, and then we're going to roll into 20 questions. I know you guys are all looking forward to us finally beating Lance after 3 weeks.
I cooked one up
Oh my
today.
gosh.
Yeah, I can't wait to lose again.
Yeah, so dude, I'm back. I'm Backstreet's back on Prime Video, okay? I'm watching Clarkson's Farm Season 4. I absolutely love this show. Jeremy Clarkson, love him or hate him, knows how to be entertaining. I'm a big Top Gear fan. I like the Grand Tour. Clarkson Farm, the dude just puts out good content.
He's great on camera, and look, you turn the camera on, magic
Equally
happens.
funny people like gravitate towards him too, because like have you watched Clarkson Farm before?
No,
you should
no.
honestly give it a go. Like I'm dead serious. Like I
The clip
really
that
think that
keep
you would love
seeing
it.
Is the really drunk old guy, him at the pub
Yeah,
with that
yes,
guy.
Richard.
And
I think his name is
He's speaking
Gerald.
Yeah, he's speaking obviously like old English.
What should be English?
But he's a little bit drunk, and it's all just kind of
It's nonsense.
It's nonsense, and Clarkson's just like, well said.
Yes, yeah. No, that's his.
It's just so funny.
That's Gerald's entire
Yeah.
personality. Love Gerald. Yeah, I love that show. It's back. Watching it. The only thing that I'm gonna tell you all right now, I'm not falling for it. Okay, I refuse to pay for no ads on Prime Video. Fuck you, Jeff Bezos. If I have to pay for a Prime membership already for Prime Video and for Amazon Prime, like the shopping stuff, why am I seeing ads?
Wait. You get ads on Prime Video?
On select things
Oh.
like this. It's like Prime original stuff I get ads on.
That's really annoying.
It's super dumb.
I've never actually thought that through, but also, yeah, if I'm paying
The only ads that I'm
$150 a
okay
year-
with, the only ads that I'm okay with on Prime Video are the movies that I could watch for free if there's a couple ads.
To be fair, though, I do on purpose make sure that I don't order things. Like, I order things one at a time on Amazon just so I know that Jeffy's paying for shipping.
Yeah.
I get my digs in.
The option to have it all delivered on one day, you're like, fuck no.
Fuck no. You see at the very end, it's like, save money on shipping or save money on boxes.
Yeah,
but it shows up a day later? Fuck that. I want it tomorrow.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I also watched MI3 through MI7. Very good. I love them. We talked about it already. I'm very happy. The one thing that I did watch that I was super disappointed in, I believe that you also watched it, Last of Us finale.
Okay.
I thought it was terrible.
Wow.
I saw that they lost half their fan base.
Okay, they're like halving every week their fan base at this point. I'm not a big math guy, but they got to be down to like 10 dudes.
I did.
And two of them are right here.
Yeah.
I did not hate. I actually quite enjoyed the season finale.
Really?
Yeah. I think that it sets up.
The only
So-
good.
So for me, like the death, unexpected and kind of exciting. Right?
Explain something to me. I have a question for you
okay.
after. Like, okay, so
Just go now.
for those, if you haven't watched it, you're probably going to, and if you, it doesn't matter. I don't think spoilers are a big problem with this.
Either
we're
you're going to
gonna-
watch
we're
it or
gonna
you're not going to
spoil
watch
it.
it.
Yeah.
Regardless.
No, I'm going to.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, okay. So at the end, where it shows Abby, it shows the DIA or whatever. What is the counter there? Day one for what though? Day one after that scene, or day one? It's
No.
like whoosh,
We're going back, and
Like-
we're seeing Abby's story next season. So
like
we're
from the get.
From the get. So we're going.
God.
No, I think that's better. To me, that's exciting.
I
right?
bet I would have.
I think
guess.
I can find myself being team Abby pretty easily. 'Cause
Honestly,
I'm
I
not a
think I'm
big
Team
Ellie
Abby
fan.
already. Is
She the one that kills Joel?
Yeah,
we
Joel
get to-
murders her dad.
Do we get to see
Ellie
her?
probably. It was in the show. Ellie was like, I probably would have died. I
Yeah.
wanted to die. That's my purpose. I don't have a purpose. That sort of thing. I think Joel's a selfish cunt.
No, I'm excited. Like I'm excited to see her side of the story because my expectation. I don't know if this is true or if this is actually going to happen. I think we'll see pretty much like we may see like a flashback scene or two with Ellie and Joel or whatever, but I think we're going to see pretty much what we saw this season. 6-7 episodes of Abby, right? And then I think season 4 will give us what actually happens post that last scene that we see. So,
Okay.
so like I think there's a lot of because I like that Caitlin Devers quite a bit.
Yeah, so do I.
Like I enjoy watching her, and I'm kind of excited to see Abby's story. What happens, like her growing up. We'll see more of the Seraphites. We'll see like that stuff is what has been intriguing me. It's like the cult stuff, cult vibes.
Yeah, I wanted more of that.
Yeah, and I think we're gonna get a lot of that with her fighting with the WLF against the Seraphites.
Yeah,
and
with the
things like
wolves.
that. So I think we'll be seeing a lot more of like the culty vibes of what's actually going on.
So I agree with all that. I think that's cool that's coming.
Is it confirmed?
I think that
season
they have
3 is.
Yeah.
It is.
I think that they've ruined their chances of people watching that with some of the decisions they made in this season.
But like a lot
of, I mean, even you would admit, like there are definitely some pretty cringy moments.
Yes,
there's some stuff that makes no sense as well.
The moments are cringy that they added. Yes,
I understand it. Again, like we talk about adaptations fairly often. And it's up to interpretation on what you want to include and or what have you. Like the problem I have though is if you have a pretty well received IP outside of this, the games specifically, why are you changing the stuff that will hit hard?
Yeah, I have a problem with
if the whole point of the show is to expand.
So what stuff are you
the
like
fan
referring
base
to?
like specifically the dad shit. That one scene was annoying.
Yes.
But,
okay.
And you can agree with that.
Yes. Agreed.
Yeah. But then also like the stuff with Tommy in the games. Tommy is the one who runs off first. Tommy is the one who is going to look for Abby to kill because of Joel, to avenge Joel. And then they end up going, Dina and Ellie go and find him, and then Jesse and all that stuff.
But I don't think it works because we didn't see enough of the brothers in the first season. Like, we just didn't. I don't
why
think
not
it would
include
work.
But
that.
here's the thing. If you've got a blueprint and the blueprint hits, why not just follow the blueprint? And if the answer is we couldn't because of, like, technical limitations. So, like we just talked about earlier, where the original Jurassic Park, they wanted to have a dinosaur attacking a ship. Mm-hmm. They physically couldn't do it. Technology wasn't there yet. They couldn't do it. If that's the reason they didn't have it and you changed it, okay, understood. But if you have a roadmap and it says, do this and this and this and this, then show me the show should connect the dots of what you see in the cutscenes of the game. I just don't know why you would change that.
I don't know. Yeah, I agree. I'm right there with you. I don't get it. I don't understand.
I don't really get it.
The whole point for me of the television show should expand on other things. They should not change other things. And I think that's what you're saying.
Yeah.
But like specifically, the one thing that I did really like was I can't think of his name. I'm losing it here. The guy who throws the grenade in the back of the car and blows up Josh Peck, or in the back of the SWAT car. Really liked that. That was cool, and that was an expansion on Ellie in the game opening that up and seeing all these dead guys, and like. That's the explanation for that. Stuff like that is cool. Completely changing. Like, Tommy never defends Jackson in the game. And we get a whole hero Tommy thing this season while Joel's getting his neck stabbed with the golf club.
Yeah, but I think that worked. So maybe we just don't see
I don't think
that part worked.
But I think
I like what you're saying.
I don't have a problem with him defending Jackson and doing that stuff. I have a problem with him not then running off and going to get Abby. I think that works better. I think that Ellie is like a sad girl at the beginning of season 2 would have worked better, and she's just mad immediately.
You see, I just think it works better for him as a character to say, yes, I love my brother, but my role is here at Jackson. Like, he has become the defender of Jackson instead of going out. Like, the character that we see is different from the video game, right? We see him more as a defender and a leader than we do as like the
vengeful
guy.
Okay, so you have a show like Andor where there's Rogue One and it gives you a predetermined ending, and the show builds on that ending by giving you here's what happens and here's how we fill in, and it adds to the thing, right? And so in this case, it complements it. In this case, you have the game that gives you a broad stroke like roadmap of here are your like 10 major beats that have to happen in this TV show. The TV show should fill in the blanks and the gaps of like how you get there, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I agree.
I just don't know why they want to take it and change it, because you have a whole bunch of people that played the games, or like me, I watched people play the games and really liked it. But then also watching the show, you've got a bunch of people that never played the games that just want to watch the show, and it's like, okay, well, who are you making this for? Are you making it for them? Because they don't like it either. And then you're also pissing the people off that played the games because now you're changing the thing that they love.
Yeah, I think they've done a grand job of making everyone upset.
Here's the main issue, I think. And
Masterclass.
maybe I'm wrong, but here's the main issue to me is you have a bunch of people, the people who didn't know the games, right? A lot of them got mad when Joel died, right? He's a great character. They got mad.
We all knew that happened.
But I think where they're going wrong is they're trying to almost retcon that and like change different story beats to bring those people back in, and it's just too late. Like they're not coming back, and now you're also angering the video game people.
I mean, I know that in season 3 you said we're going to get a whole bunch of Abby, but I mean, I would almost argue that because what's his face, Pedro Pascal, like tests so well, I bet we get a whole bunch of Pedro Pascal back in season 3.
Like flashbacks, possibly, very well could.
Anyway,
what am I watching? I also watch Return of the King because it's awesome.
Why not?
All
right. Hey, I watched Mission Impossible 1 through 6.5. Anyways, we'll just say that. And then last night I watched Ready Player One while I was setting up a new fish tank.
Nice.
Good show.
Very nice.
I have been absolutely grinding movies. Okay, so I went back. Lilo and Stitch, got it through. Final Reckoning, got it. Last of Us, got it. Studio.
I've not watched that yet. Did you watch the finale?
Yeah, did not think it was great.
Okay.
I thought that the first half of the season was very good. The last half kind of
I'm through episode 4, I think.
dwindled
and
to me.
it's kept me on for four episodes.
I'll probably watch this
I
tonight.
think that 8, 9, 10, 7, 8, 9, 10, not great.
What was your issue? Was it with Seth or?
No, I just think like I didn't find the plots that
Well,
interesting.
I think that's why they weren't that interesting. I think it's because they had a cohesive plot. Before then, everything was kind of bouncing around, you know? I think that, honestly, I think that, like,
no, but
isolated, and now they're all of a sudden, they got to swing it back to the beginning.
I know you guys are going to watch it, but I'm going to go into a little bit of spoiler things. It's not, like, super spoilery, but the whole last 2 episodes were, like, them at CinemaCon, and they get high, and the whole thing is, like, oh, we have to get him unhigh. I didn't feel like that's a 2-episode kind of thing.
It spread over to the next one?
Yes.
Ugh. I was tired of that.
That's the whole episode
I was just,
of 10 is the same
it's just
story.
Brian
Seth Rogen's
Cranston.
personality came out?
No, it's Brian Cranston.
Oh, really?
They're trying to, like, get him unhigh.
Yeah. So, because he's got to speak, but, like,
bring
it
him
feels
down.
like it could easily just not have him speak.
That's
like,
what I said.
So,
That's
like,
what I was watching. Yeah.
They're gonna lose me.
Just
on that
wasn't great, but I'll go back and finish the rest of my stuff. Watched all of Andor in the last 2 weeks, but since I didn't get to talk about it. Season 2.
Okay.
Season 1, I couldn't get through all the prison stuff again. It just wasn't going to work.
Oh, my
But
gosh.
all 8 episodes?
But here's what I'll say, okay? First 3 episodes.
No character development.
First 3 episodes were fine. They were good-ish. I would give them like a 6, 6.2. 4 through 6 goes up to like a 7.2.
The Gorman stuff, really?
7 through 9, 9.4. I thought that was fantastic. And then 10 through 12, give me back to like a 7.5.
Oh, that was the Gorman stuff. I was backwards.
Yeah, so like 7 through 9 I thought was fantastic. Like great Star Wars stuff. The rest of it was good-ish. But
I think we can agree for the most part.
Yeah. And then
I will say the only thing that I will add is that it is the only TV show to ever have a stretch of 5 episodes above 9.5 or higher on the rankings.
Yeah, that's fair. I just
Tony
the other
Gilroy
stuff just didn't
is
get me as much as the
really man, he is high on himself right now. That guy.
No, he's referring to what you're talking about, like Gorman stuff and all the.
Yeah, but the other I'm talking.
Oh no,
two that surrounded
no,
it
I think
were
most people
fine.
can agree. Like the beginning, aside from like the opening scene of 1 and like some of the stuff at the end of 3, I think the first 2 arcs were kind of slow burn. I didn't really give a shit about the Yavin 4.
1 through 3 focused a little bit more on Cyril, and so I think it just kind of was a little bit slower. But also, I feel like you needed to build on that so that his death was.
Well, you needed to add that weight too with his relationship with Dedra and him being used by her. But anyway, we're way over time, so go ahead.
Monarch, Legacy of Monsters, started that, loving it. Like that's my kind of show.
That is
I'm
right up your
loving
fucking
it.
alley.
Yeah,
I might have
it's
to
awesome,
rewatch.
actually. And I also watched Fountain of Youth on Apple TV.
Should we?
Not really. It was. I mean, I guess if you're bored, like I will say, got a new TV. It is the best picture scene that I've seen on it so far. It's in all in Dolby Vision on Apple TV, right? There's a scene on a boat with like moss and rust, and it looks fantastic. So
Okay.
yeah.
We are right under 2 hours. I wonder if we just skip 20 questions.
No.
Zach, you call it.
No. Give
I'm
the
willing to give
people what they
ourselves
want.
20 minutes
All right.
of 20
Oh,
questions.
God. Okay.
Let's do it.
I would say 10.
Here we go. 20. It's been spoken. All right. Here we go.
Let it rip. Okay. Does this movie take place on Earth?
Yes.
Is it live action?
Yes.
Are people the main characters? Humans?
Yes.
I fucking hate this guy, dude.
Yes. Yes.
Is
Franchise.
it part of a franchise?
No.
So it is a completely standalone piece of media.
Okay. There may be a sequel, but let me confirm.
How can he so confidently? This guy.
You would consider it itself. I am getting confirmation that there is a sequel, but you would not.
Sausage Party 2.
You would not consider it that way. But there is a sequel.
It's live
It's
action.
on Earth. It's live action. People are kind of the lead.
Yeah, I mean, yes, but yes, people are the main actors. How's that?
Okay. And then it does have a sequel. Kind of.
I guess.
Is it an
yes.
action movie?
No.
Okay.
No.
Is it a
Okay.
comedy?
I mean, there's kind of funny elements, but no.
Okay. Is it a...
Was it released in the last 5 years?
No.
Is it a sci-fi movie?
No.
So you already asked comedy, yeah?
Yep.
You already asked Stop It, Siri.
Mine did that too.
You already asked action movie? What did you say to
I
that?
said no.
No?
I said no to comedy as well.
Is it a thriller?
No.
What are we at?
9. You got 11 left.
Okay.
Would you consider it a drama?
No.
Holy shit.
The hell else could
then
it be?
It's got to be horror then.
Ask it.
Is it horror?
No.
What the fuck?
9.
Well,
Are you considering fantasy?
Yeah, I would consider that sci-fi.
Okay, okay.
It's not
Okay,
either
so
of those.
action,
hell?
thriller, horror, or comedy, drama, romance?
It's none
Oh.
of those.
Is it? Does he get into rom-coms?
Yeah, he loves rom-coms.
Is it a rom-com?
No.
I don't understand then. That's all of the genres.
Okay, here's your hint, okay? Because we
Okay.
are way off base. It is, do you want option 1 or option 2? Just blind guess.
1.
You could consider it a Western / something else.
Oh.
Okay.
Cowboys and aliens.
Humans. Not sci. That'd be sci-fi anyway.
I would narrow down a time frame, probably.
Okay. Is it in the last 10 years?
No.
Is the title more than one word?
Yes.
Is it in the last 15 years?
No.
Older then. Jeez.
I went out of the box this week, boys, and
So
you are nowhere near.
you said it is considered a Western. Like that's
Yeah.
for sure.
Yes. Western / something else that you also haven't named.
But it's not sci-fi.
No, it's something that you haven't named.
What I'm thinking of immediately, I go to the Jackie Chan. No. It's a Western with Owen Wilson and Will Smith.
I'm going to give you something because I think we're way off base here. It is a Western / adventure movie. So you have that.
Okay.
Wild Wild West.
It's
That's what I
not
was
really,
thinking of.
it's considered a Western in the way that it's shot, not a Western in that there's cowboys. I mean, there is probably, it's not like a pew pew cowboy movie. How's that?
I'm thinking Rango, man.
Okay, you said no. You said it was live action.
I know. It was a joke.
Okay, so it's not within the last 5, 10, or 15 years. It's older than 15 years old.
Yes.
But
Okay.
okay, that's where I'm effed up because that's only 2010.
Yeah, it's god damn.
You know, I'm like, what? I think we go. Is it made post 2000?
No.
Holy shit!
In the 90s. I'm a 90s baby. This is where I shine.
Like I'm thinking like Tombstone, but that's a pew pew cowboy
That's
movie.
a pew pew cowboy movie.
I mean, there's Young Guns as well. That's pew pew for sure.
You're the Western guy.
Yeah, I
but-
love Westerns.
But also, I feel like you're gonna be going more towards like traditional Western.
Holy cow! Is it?
In the 90s, a movie with cowboys.
Well,
Wild West was
we don't
released-
know if it's in the 90s.
It has to be.
We've done this before.
How many questions are we in?
You have 4 left.
Oh my gosh.
How did this happen?
I mean, we're pretty narrowed down now at this point.
Okay.
Thank you for the hints, I guess, but
I would not say you're narrowed down at all.
a Western adventure? What the hell is that?
do you wanna
Western
do-
in what sense, I guess? That LA's in the West.
Think what kind of time frame had the most Westerns?
What kind of time frame had the most Westerns? Like 60s, 70s? I don't know any fucking movies from then.
You probably know one. The one that I picked.
Blades of Glory? Or Blazing Saddles is what I'm thinking
That's
of.
a straight comedy, though.
No, it's a Western adventure comedy. It has comedic elements. Yeah, I would say that's it.
That's a comedy.
Okay, this is beyond. Okay, would you consider Blazing Saddles a straight comedy?
To be honest, I've never seen the movie.
Oh, okay.
So
Okay.
Western, 60s, 70s, some comedic elements. I might as well just toss that part out. Oh, man.
Do you want to ask if it was in the 90s?
No, he just basically confirmed 60s and 70s.
Oh, 60s and 70s.
He said, I can think of one movie.
you could probably get who made it. That's probably the best you're gonna get. From like,
Who made it? Like, you just don't think it's just so old.
I don't think you're even considering the ballpark of this movie right now.
Like, is it a... I want to ask, like, Clint Eastwood. But that's, like, definitely a pew-pew Western.
Maybe.
Are we talking, like, cowboy Western? Or are we talking it's just out in the West?
Just out in the West, considered a Western movie.
All right, can you give us a hint without costing us a question? Is it in the 60s or 70s, though?
Well, technically, no, it's in the 50s.
Okay.
What?
No fucking idea.
You guys have both seen this movie, I guarantee it. Guarantee it.
I don't think so.
I would be shocked if either of you have not seen this movie.
In the 1950s?
Yep.
What?
I mean, maybe I'm.
Oh,
wrong.
wait.
Steel Magnolia?
No. Okay, it takes place. I think he's really confusing what is a Western.
Okay.
Is there a dog in this movie?
There is a dog.
Oh,
in
it's
this
Old
movie.
Yeller. It's Old Yeller.
Okay, I'm good guessing.
If that's
it.
1950 and I've seen that movie. Is the movie Old Yeller?
Yes, the movie.
Yeah!
I
That's
feel,
right!
I feel like I gifted that one to you, but yes,
Okay.
the movie is Old
No,
Yeller.
I would not consider Old Yeller a Western.
Nope.
It's literally the first thing
Western
that's on
film adventure. Okay.
Okay.
What? But like you're
What would you have considered it? What would you have? what
coming
would
of
you-
age movie.
Okay, well, you didn't say that either, so like I just went with what I gave.
Yeah, but would you have said yes?
I mean, I would say there's elements of it for sure. I would say that's. I would have probably
Elements
said
of
that's
it.
Well,
not.
anyways,
What they,
Doesn't matter
that
what
was
one.
a hell of a pull. Hell yeah, brother.
you've never seen Old Yeller?
It's probably been it's
But
been a
you
long
have seen it.
time.
I have seen Old Yeller probably more times.
I don't know when's the last time I
It's
watched
because
it
it was
or if
one
I
of the
have.
movies at my grandma's,
Uh-huh.
and so I watched it like a ton.
Yep.
I don't know if I ever actually watched Old Yeller.
You should watch it.
I don't know.
Except I always used to skip when the dog died.
I
That's
would
when
skip
I.
to
That's when
that
it
part.
ended.
I would skip to that part. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
Okay,
Anyway.
hey guys, thanks for checking us out. Remember to follow us on all the socials, like, comment, subscribe, drop us comments. Weirdly enough, this guy didn't make a whole lot of crazy takes today.
The talent is back and dialed in, so be ready for next week.
That's
I'll
what you wanna
have them
say?
back in.
All right.
Anyway, thanks for listening. Adios.